Giallo films, where style, suspense and a touch of the bizarre collide. What's not to love? All right, film fans, Giallo is more than just Italian for yellows. It's a whole vibe, razor-sharp edits, wild camera moves and murder mysteries dripping with colour and style. Darren breaks down why these films, from Argento's Deep Red to Bava's Blood and Black Lace, feel so unique. Think masked killers, pulpy plots and soundtracks that pop, plus those outrageous fashion choices. Joey, why do people love Giallo? Darren says it's the perfect blend of art and adrenaline. The mystery hooks you, the style keeps you watching, and those twists, always a shock. Plus, Giallo inspired everything from American slashers to modern neo-noir. So next time someone brings up Italian cinema, drop a Giallo reference. They'll know you're in the club. Curious for more? Hit subscribe and let's unravel the next mystery together.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is Talking Giallo with, of course, my fellow slasher bro over there, Darren. I am Chris C., the slasher nerd, but today I am the Giallo nerd king. Of course, that is Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective. Him and Dirk do great stuff over there. If you like Giallos, if you like Euro, horror, stuff like that too, those guys are the to-be spot. I have their links, Dead Pit links. All the other links those gents do stuff with, like Visited by Voices. They had a great live stream a few days ago. Congrats to Lauren and all those people there. They do a great job. And yeah, this is Talking Giallo, renamed from Giallo Rex with Darren, but we have Talking Giallo with Darren, of course. How are you doing today there, Darren?
I'm doing really good today. Yeah, it's I got my fan on in the background, as you can see. It's really hot in the UK.
Yeah, I got warm here too.
But you guys probably wouldn't even think it was hot. Like I was, even in the late 70s, 80s is pretty bad. But no, I mean, when we've been talking about this for a while, and when we mentioned doing a sleazy type Gialli, that's my kind of thing. I love the sleazy ones, man. As you can tell from me and Dirk's channel, man. But yeah, looking forward to this one.
It should be a good one. Yeah, that's the set we're talking about. We're talking about the Forgotten Gialli Volume 4. Me and Darren agree. This is our favorite box set right here.
Easily.
I hand it to Vinegar Syndrome. They bring out, and they are Forgotten Gialli. These are late Gialli, 78, with, of course, a Sister of Ursula, to 1989, the tail end of the 80s decade, with Arabella, Dark Angel. So directed by an alias by the name of Max Steel, by the way. Don't know from what the director said. Also, it is a very certain, my all-time favorite director's birthday, and that is the great Lucio Fulci. Happy birthday to you, my friend. The godfather of Italian gore, my all-time favorite Italian director. Your thoughts on him and his filmography, Darren?
Oh, man, like we recently done some of his films again, some of the lesser-known films. And no, Fulci's up there, man. He's up there in my top 3. Yeah, I think it lies well documented. I like Argento is my favorite, but Martino and Fulci, they're pretty much, neck and neck, and 2 and 3. Yeah, just a legend, man. There's not many films, like horror films of his, that I've not seen, but there are like a couple. I think Voices from Beyond is one of them. But
yes. Yeah.
No, Fulci's the type of director you can just put on anything of his at any time. Certainly that golden period of like 78 to like 82, 83 was like amazing.
Yeah, it was very good. I got introduced to him like all films in Praise for the Shadows. By the way, we have Lauren here in the chat. Thank you very much, my friend. You all did a great stream. You do great stuff over there, my man. You, Darren, all those people are just awesome, great reviews. And I love your takes on just everything, really. Specifically on slashers, I do agree with you on a lot of things, my friend. Thank you for dropping in and saying hi. Like I say, big happy birthday to, of course, Lucio Fulci. It is Fulci Lives. It's the year Fulci, in my opinion. At least 3 releases are up there for my releases of the year. Period. We have The Beyond. We have Murder Rock. I mean, we got, flipping there's another one I think coming, I believe, or did already come. It's been, like I say, we've had a lot of great releases this year so
They're
far.
all pretty good. I just got to say hi again to Lorne as well. Yeah, that guy's doing some great stuff over there.
Yeah.
He's like with Lorne. He's one channel that if I see anything come up, I've got to watch it straight away because just his intakes on everything and what how he talked about films are fantastic. But yeah,
exactly.
go over and subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Visited by Voices, man. They did a great animated film over there too. That shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into this real quick. I did pre-order this when Scream Factory announced it. That's the Mario Bava box set collection. We're talking about 12 discs here, people. So we're going to show that real quick. I'm going to get Darren's take on this. So let him look at all the goodies. I'm sure he has already. We're just going to discuss some of the films in there and show you the list of films that are in this box set. Now we've seen the Instagram channels have had some pictures of what it may look like. If they are individual slips in a case, that's my release of the year. Because there's a few films that, Kino had, and one that Arrow had, for a minute, which is A Bay of Blood, of course. So that's the only second time. Well, Kino had it too. So that's like the third time that's been released. And that's an all-timer for me. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's worth it for that box set alone, but it's it's
Lisa and the Devil as well come out on Arrow, and I think that went pretty much out of print pretty early on.
Yeah, absolutely it did.
I tell you,
here we go.
Well, I tell you my reasons why I think it's not going to be the release of the year and why I haven't bought it. But because for me, and I'll just say it straight away, like I've got a lot of them anyway, and I was a bit disillusioned that there's no commentary track by Troy Howarth. Urkelani, Nathaniel Thompson and all that. But if you've not got these films, or if you've not got the majority of these films, then this is a great way to start. I will say that.
Yeah, Kill Baby Kill is like an all-timer Gothic one. That's like I said, he was the king of Gothic. I mean, Mario Bava sits on a mountaintop by himself. Like I say, Blood and Black Lace is my all-time favorite Giallo. That film's a masterpiece to me. I think it's untouchable. I think it's his masterpiece of a film. I think it's his best directed film too, by the way. I
can't argue with that, man. I can't argue with that. For me, my favorite is The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
Which is in this set too. Yeah, The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
It's for me, it's like one of his most underrated. I know it was pretty much his debut Giallo.
John Saxon.
Anyway. Yeah.
Knights of the Avenger. That's one I have not seen.
I've not seen that one either.
$5 for an August Moon. I know you've repped that one.
Very underrated film. I tell you what, that's one. Edwidge Finesse. That's one of my favorites.
Okay. All right. Roy Colton Winchester Jack. That's crazy. So was that?
Sounds like
Dollars trilogy. Okay. Brett Halsey.
Like Western.
How about that? So Brett Halsey and Lucio Fulci were good friends, really, to tell you the truth. So Brett Halsey like a mainstay kind of in these films.
He did do a lot of films with Fulci.
4 Times That Night. Of course, A Bay of Blood, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve. We will discuss that film in another certain film too, later on in the year and stuff like that. So very good. Baron Blood. I like this one a lot, so it'll be cool to get a Blu-ray of this one.
Baron Blood has got that gothic atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a gothic slasher in my opinion. Of course, I'm
talking about Bava here, and we're talking about underrated films. But now I think people are starting to see these now. They're even seeing the lesser known ones too.
And of course, then you have Kidnapped right here. Which you like Rabid Dogs, I think that's what you call it, Darren.
The other 2 versions. I'm not sure if they got the 2 versions on this release.
No, I think it's just this one. So I kind of get what you're saying. I wouldn't call it like a bare bones thing, but this is like 12 discs and it's crazy. So this is kind of what you get. To your point, Darren, like Troy not being on here. So you have audio commentary with writer Dr. Rebecca King. I know her. I've heard some of her commentaries, so that's going to be very interesting. Commentary with her and stuff like that. She does good stuff too. So you have some interesting people in here. Larry Cohen, which is very cool. Yeah, Trailers from Hell. Those are great. They do those in a few. Aquino has a few of those Trailers from Hells because it's like each one's like a filmmaker doing something different. Because I know Mick Garris is on one of these as well. The Girl Who Knew Too Much. It's like Yeah, unfortunately, just kind of this too, not like you say, a lot of bare bones kind of stuff. The Evil
That
Eye.
is
So there is two. There is two
yeah.
versions on here. So this one has two versions. That's crazy. So that's good.
Yeah. Dirk said it's got the American version as well, and it's like a little bit comedic.
That's kind of the trippy because
value in
most
a
of these are the international versions, and I kind of get that. You kind of know what's going on too. Specifically with Black Sabbath, you know what's going on. So yeah, with filmmaker Mick Garris and stuff like that, which is interesting. But yeah, I like the Trailers of Hell stuff. Kill Baby Kill. So
there's actually like a Giallo kind of short film in Black Sabbath, which is superb.
Yeah, the phone.
But it's done.
Yeah.
It's done in two versions. Where there's a more sleazier, like Italian version, where there's like a lesbian element. But the
right,
American
you kind of know
like
what's going on. To your point, Darren, even though they don't state it in the international version. $5 for an August Moon. So you have, audio commentary with actor and writer Tracy Lett. So that's very interesting.
Okay.
Bill Ari and Ashley Coffin trailer. Roy Colton, disc 7, so you have that. Disc 8, 4 times that night. It's crazy. Disc 9, A Bay of Blood. So there's a few here. It's unfortunate too that Mr. Stephen Thrower isn't a part of any of these either, because he'd be perfect for A Bay of Blood in my opinion.
Stephen
he'd be
Thrower,
perfect for that.
Kim Newman, Alan Jones, like they would have all been great.
Yeah, Baron Blood, that'd be another good one if they put like commentary in there. That'd be very, because I do like that. A lot of people kind of shit on the film a bit.
Is that bare bones? Like pretty much.
That's a bare bones one. Yeah, that's
disappointing.
There's
man.
Monio Drac and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Tubi has the film. It's a bad transfer. It's like a VHS transfer. So if they cleaned it up, I'd be happy. So it's one they don't talk about a lot, so I get it.
Right, the Arrow Blu-ray's pretty good. It looks pretty good to me.
Lisa and the Devil, of course. Trailers from Hell with Filmmaker Joe Dante. That's worth it by itself.
I think that's one of the mainstays of the box set for me. If I do end up getting it, is Lisa and the Devil.
The House of Exorcism.
Yeah, the 2 versions as well.
Then, of course, Kidnap. So you know what films, of course, are missing, because I believe Kino still has them, which is Planet of the Vampires. Of course, The Whip and the Body. That'd be insane. They literally got that one, which is a great film. Of course, Hatchet for the Honeymoon, which nobody talks about. I really like Hatchet for the Honeymoon.
Shock's another one.
Shock's
I know
Arrow released that one.
They debated whether Lambert or Bava shot a lot of that as well. But
it's the same thing with The Bay of Blood, too, right? So I know he helped Bava with that one as well, because that was the 70s, because he's the one that brought his dad back into the fold. So, but yeah, that's an awesome looking box. And props to that. That's a great picture. That's a great photo, the way they do that. So they have a good artist do that. There you go.
I'm sure I'm going to have like remorse for not getting it, but we'll see.
No, it's all right. Wait till it goes down. Yeah, I agree with that, Lauren.
I'm not sure it will.
Top film. I totally agree with Black Sunday. Yeah. It's
Black Sunday is a masterpiece.
It's a vampire film. I mean, really, it's like, but yeah.
Yeah.
All films really with a good transfer look great in black and white. Like on Blu-ray, black and white looks great. Like 4K, black and white looks great. They just have that because it's the way the color grading is.
That's when the image comes up on screen, man, in HD.
Yeah.
Superb.
It's good to see Caveman in here too. I hope you're having a good evening there, guy, wherever you're all at. And we'll get this started here with these sleazy Giallos, what I call them, but these are you can say the transitionary period for these films. They're a lot more mean, in my opinion. A lot more mean. We've got mean Giallos like, from Dallamano, of course, with What Have You Done to Your Daughters, What Have You Done to Solange. Before that, of course, you have these kind of evil films. So we're talking about, from that awesome box set, we're talking about The Sister of Ursula from 1978.
Yeah.
We're talking about The Killer Is Still Among Us, which is a banger of a film from 1986. And then, of course, one of our personal favorites, that's Arabella, Black Angel. I've grown to really love this film for what it is. You can call me like a perv or whatever like that, a hot-blooded man, and that's what I am. I get flustered every time I watch this.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
The first one we're going to talk about is The Sister of Ursula from 1978. And the second watch, this one impressed me more than the first time I watched it. So Darren, go ahead and lead us off about this film.
Right, this one, I've always loved this one. It's been pretty high up in my regard for. I'm trying to think when I first saw this. Now would have been the old Region 1 release, so you're talking 15 years maybe. And I don't know why they didn't go with that original cover art as well, where you can kind of see it on there with the girl with the blade.
Yeah,
They'd have just done that as the whole image. I would have been more happier.
iconic picture.
But
sorry, real quick, guy was asking me what's up with the gloves. That's for my new review series. That I do on Giallos and stuff like that. So it's called Black Glove Reviews. I put up a introductory video up on my channel. So, I'm just repping these real quick. And of course, it's Lucio Fulci's birthday. So all in black today. We got the Black Glove Killers going on. Go ahead, Darren.
No, that's fine. So yeah, this one, 1978, directed by Enzo Milioni. And he didn't really do a lot. He like certainly Giallo films.
There's a good interview with him on this disc too. He talks about Mark Perel, who died way too early. He died in 1983. He had drug issues and all this other stuff too. Tragic end to a great actor. Like he was in a couple Lucio Fulci films. He was in Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Right,
yeah,
that one Felicio Tessi one. Good looking dude, just troubled in the head. Unfortunately, he could have gone far.
There's a scene in this film as well, which is kind of creepy, where he literally is shooting up drugs.
Yeah, heroin.
Thinking, at the time he was doing this for real. So every time I see that, it's kind of.
He has a Fabio pose you can see at the end of this film, which is quite funny.
Yes, but the cast in this, so you got Ursula's played by Barbara Magnolfi, and she was the real life wife, and she of Mac Perel, but and she was in quite a few films you probably know her from. The Suspicious Death of a Minor, Martino in 75.
I forgot about that.
The big one. Yeah. Cut and Run. So Diodato. She did Violent Shit, the movie as well from 2015, which I've not seen.
And by the way, for Barbara, she's born on April 16th, which is my birthday. She is older than I am, but so it's always cool to share birthdays with these awesome people and stuff. She's a producer. Or she became a producer, so she's done stuff behind the scenes as well. So very pretty lady.
She's like stunning looking woman with very piercing green eyes, which come to play.
Yes, she does.
The cast, though, yeah. So you got Dagmas played by Stefania Diamario, and she was in Zombie, Fulci Zombie, 1950. Nice. Not too much is known about the others, really. You've got Stella Shining, was played by Yvonne Harlow. She only really made 4 films, which I was quite surprised to find out.
Yeah, just say Shining in there and stuff like that. Tries to sing with the song. There are scenes where she's just kind of sitting there, where she's like going, "What do you want me to do here? You want just do stuff."
Oh man, we're gonna come into that. Yeah. But just briefly touch again on Mark Perel, who I actually think could have gone on and been a major star.
Oh, he could have been huge. He was a good-looking gent. I mean, Don't Torture a Duckling alone, he's great in. And The Psychic, he's very good in. So he has that. He had that aura about him. He was meant for these films.
Oh man, he died in '83, like you said, and he made a pretty much a Giallo just before he died called Killing of the Flesh. But his 2 performances in Don't Torture a Duckling, The Psychic, and if you want to throw in, Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man, where he's riding around on this motorbike with Ray Lovelock, it's superb, man.
Nice.
But yeah, the cast is superb. We got Vanessa's played by Anna Zinnerman, and you probably know her, Chris, from The Bloodstained Butterfly in '71, which we've covered not long ago.
Yes, Vanessa, she is gorgeous.
Yeah, she plays.
Yeah, there's a good sexy time scene with her and Miss Stella in here. No, somebody else. Yeah. Good stuff.
I think they all get some sexy time in this at one point or another.
Yeah.
Just to briefly say the outline of the story, and then we'll go on to all.
Actually, yeah. So it was her lover, or Vanessa's lover, Jenny Atinsika Nemor. This was her last film that she did. That's the nice naked chick that you see there and stuff like that too. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this film. Darren and I are going to talk about this too. That's what I kind of like about it. It's very, It's definitely a Giallo. It's definitely a WTF stuff. There's a lot of sexy time in here. There's a lot of hot and heavy sexy time in here that the director did not want in here. Not as much, and stuff like that. But it's okay. The slasher nerd likes this stuff in here.
I think, like, when I covered it with Dirk, and I think we covered it with Gizmo as well, and I think it was with Gizmo as well. But anyway, like, Dirk, I think, really likes the film, but he's not one for these, because I know him and Gizmo hated Arabella, and they're not the type of guys. They don't really like all the porn.
It's so cheesy, 80s.
It's not for
so
everyone,
good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. It's all subjective.
I get that. But you've got two sisters, and then they go off on holiday to this beautiful kind of small coastal town in Italy, in this lovely, big hotel.
That's for an inheritance from their father, right? Aren't they trying to find somebody? Yeah, because it comes out of nowhere.
Recently died. Yeah,
committed suicide.
I think their mother was like this actress.
Yeah,
I think she's rumored to still be alive, but no one can kind of get hold of
her
because she kind of run off with this man when they were younger and left the two sisters and the father on their own.
I'll say this too: when you get introduced to them and they go to their room, there's a certain object there that gives away the killing weapon. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't know, then you know. If you don't know, now you know. You will find out. That's what makes cool about rewatching these films. It's like, there it is. I see it. Okay.
And believe it or not, that murder weapon was done in at least 3 Gialli films. So
that's
got
crazy.
It in this one.
Because it's an actual statue. It doesn't look like a statue from a certain shadow point, but it's a statue. Yeah. The director makes fun of it. He goes, yeah, it's just a statue. He actually has it, and he shows it, and it's,
So it's in this one. It's in Rings of Fear. And it's in one like a semi-Giallo film called The Sunday Woman in 1975, which is worth checking out. I want a massive fan of that one.
Okay.
But this just starts off pure sleaze right from the word go.
Yeah.
It really does. I love the opening theme. So there's a song or a theme that plays, or it is literally a song. I think it goes like Your Eyes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Your Eyes. Title. Yeah.
It plays throughout. And it is fantastic. But even like the music in different scenes, like that's not that theme, so the whole same track as a whole, I would buy that in a heartbeat if it was. Like,
there's a few of these soundtracks for these Gialli I'd buy in a heartbeat and stuff like that.
The piano theme that comes up in this as well is so good, man. And I don't think anyone like really sees above this being like a softcore porn. But there's so much more, man, in terms of a Giallo film.
It is,
and everything.
This was filmed in. Was it Salerno Campania? I believe it is. It's actual resort and stuff over there, and it's flipping gorgeous.
Oh, man. It looks stunning.
Great shots. Right, some of the best shots I've seen for a Gialli film. Could be overhead shots and stuff. Yeah,
because you see it almost. The hotel is like on a hill. Would you say?
Yeah.
And it's so picturesque.
Like the one balcony when the two are talking and stuff, and they venture the camera out. That's a high camera work right there. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. But in terms of like you said with the stories, you got the sisters Dagmar and Ursula. They arrive at the hotel. Ursula seems a little bit spooked by one of the statues in the lobby.
I know she keeps on looking at it. You think she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, like really quick. I mean, she's like, so
they pretty much tell you that, don't they? Like she's not really mentally at a great place, should we say? With the
find out a little bit about that later. Yeah, with like
but straight off the bat, so we got Dagmar strips off completely full frontal.
Yeah, right in front of the sister. Yeah, she's all just like taking the clothes out of her suitcase while she's just like,
And as if like that happens all the time, you just get butt naked in front of your sister.
Like you're an exhibitionist. I was like, first time seeing this, I'm like, oh, already, here we go. All right then,
But she goes one step further than that a little bit later on, which
she does.
When they're in bed.
Yes, she does. God bless her.
But no, you got Robert Dell'Elli. He's played by Vanni Materazzi. He's the hotel manager, and he introduces himself to Dagmar and Ursula. You've got the great kind of nightclub in the background. Their kind of session singer or their resident singer is Stella Shining. man, and that's where that song kicks in again, and it's just so catchy, man. It like almost hypnotizes you throughout the film, that song, and it comes
it's
comes
pretty
up in
good.
so many ways. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's where we get early on. We get introduced to Filippo as well, Mark
Mark
Perel.
Perel
Ursula
tries
takes
to
this
shake her
big kind of
shake Ursula's
dislike
hand
to
or
him.
whatever like that, and she's just like, "Don't touch me!" Like automatically. It's just
She
like, and he's
tells her
like,
sister, Ursula tells her sister, that's the man who's going to kill me, and all this, and she's just got this instant dislike for his character.
I forgot that she said that, Darren. That's good foreshadowing. That's good foreshadowing with this film.
Yeah, it is. So Stella meets the sisters as well. And you can tell then early on that there's something going on between Stella and Filippo, because I think he tries to grab her hand at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah, and she shoves it away. It's
very offish with him.
There's a lot of shit going on in this film. Like, I love it. I love films kind of like this. I keep on forgetting. I like the WTF type of stuff. I really do. That's why I love The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave so much. You know, it's films like that where it's like it can be all over the place. I'm like, oh, this is great. You know, you just get kind of engrossed in the whole thing, what's going on.
You do this one as well, like you say. This gets your whole attention the whole 90 minutes. It's not any, for me, it doesn't really go into any slow spots or anything like that. You've got you've got to pay attention, like you say, to little things like that, you know, with the hand holding and certainly the next scene I was going to mention as well that Chris did a bit earlier. So we get a massive clue to the murder weapon, which we have said is you know, we're going to spoil everything anyway, but is this huge wooden dildo.
Yeah, that's actually, it's a statue from one side, but you turn it around and there'd be shadows of it, like it's a hard-on being raised up and shit like that.
Right.
Where it's like I say, the shadow camera work is great in this as well, except for one kind of ending scene where it gets like black, dark. We'll get to that. It just gets black where you can hardly see kind of anything. Yeah. This is a 4K transfer, I believe. So from
man, it looks stunning.
From the scan, and it looks great for what it is. So.
I've recently, well, I say recently, but before I last watched this, I've upgraded my TV.
Nice.
And to see this now on a 4K upverted Blu-ray player as well.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. It looks like it actually looks like a 4K to me on my TV. Stunning. But yeah, with that scene that you said, you've got to pay close attention. I don't think anyone picks up on it early. Like first time watch, you'll never guess. That's
no, you never get it really.
But yeah, you know, Ursula as well. She starts seeing visions of her father and like blood and that's not really there.
Like telekinesis, like Carrie type stuff. You know, before Carrie, like doors open and close automatically. Like it's very good psychologically.
It is. It will keep you guessing as well all the way through. You got the scene early on as well with the prostitute. She's hired to have sex with like a male friend, while the killer is it kind of in the wardrobe or something watching on.
The killer picks her up and stuff like that. Oh, you want to watch? Yeah, I have somebody. You know, brings this dude in there. They do their thing and stuff like that too. It doesn't linger too, by the way. Don't think it doesn't linger on. You know, they do the deed. She pays him off. You know, gives him the money and stuff like that. He's like, okay, cool, classy. You know, it's like, okay, I'll see you later and stuff like that.
There is a blowjob scene in there, though.
Yes, there is. Oh no, you see everything in this film. You see the dudes. You know what in here. You see them in these films. I'm like, yeah, that's a great transfer right there. You can see that. You get the same backhand bitch slap all the time. Just
all the time.
It's hilarious.
There's no way, right, that blowjob scene wasn't real. I think she's literally giving him head. You can tell.
No, you saw it.
You can tell. You can, if you look closely enough. But the sleaze is like 100%.
It is high in this one. Yeah.
But the killer's got something kind of unique about them. They've got these really piercing green eyes. And that can throw you.
See it like in the dark. It's almost it's very Giallo, it's very Hitchcock type stuff too, where you kind of see that too, which I really like that, where it just shows the eyes of the killer. I always like that.
That will throw you off though, because there's no way that those killer's eyes are the same as the killer at the end. And I know you've got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Grain of salt, yeah.
But and I've got no looking at this film the way it is and everything like that doesn't spoil my enjoyment. Ursula, she's getting these nightmares as well on top of everything else, the anxiety, like you say. But Filippo seems to be watching her and her sister at one point, because I think he takes a shine to the sister.
He's posing on one of the balconies. There's another one where I think after she has the dream, it's like the sister is giving her a sedative, and it's like, no, you drink it, you need it, and they both kind of drink it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay,
Oh yeah. There's so Dagmar takes a shine, she really likes Filippo. And like Ursula's like, don't go with him, he'll end up killing me and all this. But I think there's so many red herrings in this as well, which I like. You never. I think it comes to a point maybe towards the end where it's unmistakably who the killer is, but up until a certain point, you can't really work it out because they throw you off on so many different things, so many red herrings, so many, like, you think Filippo, but then that's too obvious. Would you say? Yeah.
There's a lot of people I thought initially could do it and stuff like that. I did not think the killer would be who we get at the end of this. I didn't think it was that person. I thought it'd be the other person. So
they do that. They do that. Hide that really well, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ursula, she ends up fainting, when she sees like the murder scene, or she hears of the murder.
That's when she sees Vanessa when she wakes up, and so you get introduced to her. That's the first time you get introduced to her. So a lot of these characters get introduced to you in this resort hotel. It's definitely a whodunit type of Giallo.
They've all got some kind of sleazy secret as well, because
everybody's a suspect.
Yeah. She's a lesbian. She's Roberto's wife, the guy who runs the hotel, and
which you don't know really. You don't know that. You don't know that because you think it's him and Stella and stuff like that are doing something like that. So it's like, typical Italian dirtbag.
They've all got like skeletons in their closet. Every single character, apart from I would say Dagmar. But. Yeah, so Filippo then we go off into this side plot where he steals this little black book from a man. It's like an address book. And then there's another part to the story with the whole drug thing as well, that kind of comes into the equation. There's different, so you've got these murders going on. You've got Filippo who's a drug addict.
It's basically a drug ring that's kind of going on in here. That's basically what it is. Like Perel, unfortunately, he was that way in real life. He's almost like a Wings Hauser type of actor. He kind of plays what he was in real life, the actual person playing the actual person with unfortunately, his addiction to heroin and drugs like that. There's a scene where you see him really quickly entering, was it Stella's room? Yeah, it's Stella's. And just wrapping the rubber band, whatever that is. The way he kind of puts it over his shoulder and stuff like that, too. The way he holds it, he's kind of just doing that for the film, right? Just doing that for the film. If you do it right, you're not doing it right. You're holding it literally in your mouth and doing that. That's when she comes in, and she's like just disgusted by him in general.
Right. She's repulsed by him. And they're like, without jumping too far ahead, but her, like Stella Shining, she's getting these bottles of perfume all the time. Yeah. And that's kind of where the drug ring comes into it.
That's how she transports this. Yeah, we could spoil that. That's how she transports that, which is pretty damn smart. The director did his homework here. This is pretty good for, seeing how this all operates. Pretty good.
And Roberto's in on it as well. So, you've got the free, like, well, I was going to say the three of them.
He's the drug addicted boyfriend, basically, like that. So he's like hot and cold with her, and it's the loving the bad boy type of a thing and stuff like that. She can't help herself with that. So,
but the story with the two sisters as well, they need to find their mother because they've been left quite a large inheritance. And the one sister wants to give her mother some of the inheritance.
Yeah, she says that to her when they're having like a normal conversation, and Ursula seems to be kind of normal and stuff like that, where you're thinking she's like bipolar, like way bipolar, man. Where she's like, we got to find our mom. And, she deserves gave birth to us and stuff like that. She left dad probably for a reason, blah, blah, blah. We come to that later of what really happened there in that situation. But to your point.
Oh, yeah. And her father, even though it's said at this point, died from an accident, we do get to find the truth with that as well a bit later on. But yeah, you've got some great scenes really coming up. You know, you've got the sisters, they visit like this small church in the area. Is it like a church?
Yeah,
I wasn't even sure
it's
what
like
it was.
it's like a cathedral. It's like a Gothic type of tomb looking thing, because it's like almost like a store. There's a storage facility, kind of, you know,
right.
with a cage on
like
it, stuff like that.
A
you know,
separate wing to the hotel
catacombs
as well comes into play.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this scene in like the church place is Ursula, she makes this big speech to like the statue about not having any eyes, and I mean, looking back on it, you could maybe work it out by then, but
this has Mario Baba vibes a little bit in the Gothic category when I really think about it, because you know, during those catacombs, it gets pretty Gothic and stuff like that. There's a scene, I think it's later on, where because like I say, Filippo's trying to talking to Dagmar, but Ursula's like, yeah, I'm not having none of that and stuff like that. She's just going while he's talking, to her about what's going on and stuff like that. And, there's a scene where those vagrant kids come in and stuff like that. How old did they say they were? Like 17 or something like
16
that?
or 17.
16 or 17? Yeah.
It makes the following scene even more disturbing.
Yeah, they get kicked out because they're like, we only want a room. There's no room available. As all this stuff's going on, that's when the clerk tells them, it's like, yeah, we got to send them away and stuff like that. So you got into that long panned out scene of them like walking on beautiful beach area, dude. My God.
It is, yeah.
Like, dude, and just finding this place and stuff like that. And she gets freaked out because, you have these steps going down and stuff, and you see all this stuff at the bottom. It's very Baba-esque. Very Baba.
Oh, it's superb to set into that.
Dude, yeah.
And then it's quite disturbing because they end up having sex, and then the killer comes
by the fire and all this other stuff too. Yeah. You figure out that he's a little dude when he gets up, and it's the same thing. The killer just takes him out with a knife, just slits his throat, I think.
Right, he gets his throat slit.
But and then same thing, she gets up, whack, and that's
you know, this is some of the kill scenes. That's all you get.
Yeah,
they do that in a lot of the kill scenes in this. They don't follow it through, so we see the killer whacking the person.
I kind of like that. We see the silhouette go.
I do. We don't need to see everything, but we see the friggin' aftermath.
We do see some brutal stuff. We do see some brutal stuff afterwards. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So the two sisters' mother, we find out, is called Martha Fuller. She left him to fall in love with another man. Their father was a talented musician who died in a horrible accident. Like Ursula kind of idolized her father. She's always mentioning him. He's always coming back in through her dreams and that.
Yeah, in her dreams, she kind of talks in third person when she's sleeping, like in the kind of voice of her father or something like that, because the door opens one scene and stuff like that. And she gets up, she goes, Papa, and stuff like that. And it's like,
she claims to like, he's still there when she's in her dreams and when she's like talking.
Yeah.
It's kind of, weird.
Remember another one before Friday the 13th. That's all I'm saying. Of course, Psycho did this before, but we'll get to that.
This is all like linked to the slasher genre anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotta love it.
Filippo finds this bracelet and he gives it to Roberto. We pretty much find out that it's Roberto's wife. And she's been kind of sleeping around, and she's got this lesbian lover that he's not too happy about.
Yeah, that's when she faints, right, or something like that. Yeah. So
Ursula
so Filippo opens the cage door because it's unlocked. That's where it's like almost like these Mardi Gras like pom poms or whatever it is. Some purple stuff, and he sees the bracelet, to your point, underneath there and stuff like that. That's when he looks, and it's because of the wind that the door closes. Kind of like you said, red herring type stuff here too. It's like wannabe jump scares or something like that going on.
Oh yeah. So Filippo is pretty much asking Roberto now that he knows Stella Shining's ended their relationship, and he wants to find out who she's going out with, who she's seeing. like pretty much who she's having sex with. I think he even asks whether Roberto's sleeping with her at one point, and Roberto's like, "No, not me.
No, not me. No, I'm not."
That guy's a sleazy.
Yeah, when they have the conversation and stuff like that, it's like, because he says, "Well, you technically you asked me 2 questions." He's like, "You asked me, is anybody with her?
Yeah,
and how many men has she slept with and stuff like that too?" So this is like, well, he's like, "Well, I want none of that. I want her to be mine and blah 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 and all this other stuff too." So it's kind of a cool kind of conversation between these 2 dudes. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah. So Vanessa owns the hotel. She tells Roberto that she wants a divorce after he confronts her with the missing bracelet. Then we get to see her lover, Jenny, and the first shot we see of her lover is she's topless. Oh man,
she's waving to her, and he sees her and stuff like that too. Then you see that kind of look on both of their faces and stuff like that, because like it looks like they're married, because they kind of have an argument, because she's like, because the hotel is or the resort is mine, not yours and stuff like that, because I've helped you out and all this other stuff. Do you find out some things of what's going on here?
Oh yeah. She claims, like, she's
going to your lover and all this other stuff too and stuff.
Right.
And make no mistake, she loves her. She loves her. And like, it's a big, big thing. That seems to be another thing. It seems to be a love triangle between 3 women there as well, with Jenny, with Stella, and with Vanessa. So it's between those 3 as well, which is a trip.
Oh yeah, there's all different types of affairs going. Everyone's sleeping with
dude. It's like, why not?
You can't expect anything different, I don't think.
Yeah.
Ursula thinks she sees her father. Filippo then runs after Stella because he arranges to meet Dagmar, doesn't he? And then he just fucking walks straight past Dagmar when she gets ready. She's all done up nice in a dress and that.
Yeah.
And but he's
that's right. He takes her he rides with her, and that's a nice car that he has. And to one of the dealers and stuff like that too, which is hilarious. It's like she gets the stuff from him, and then he happens to be out there, and he gives him a look and all this other stuff too. And he goes, "I'm taking you here," and she's just pissed off. She's like, "Whatever," I'm like going, "Yeah." puts the suitcase or whatever like that in the car. That's pretty much it for that wise, which is a trip.
But yeah, the aftermath of that scene. So Dagmar's obviously not very happy. I think she maybe has a drink or whatever with Roberto, but she goes up into
right, because he comes and asks her, it's like, "You want to have lunch too?" and stuff like that. Sure.
Yeah.
That's where you see her go up, and Ursula's already asleep. And
this is wild.
The dude gave her like all this gold jewelry and stuff like that, and she has a good time with that jewelry. Because you hear him say, "You're so beautiful" and stuff like that. "You deserve the world" and all this stuff too, and all these other stuff, and that gets her off. So you have that scene right there.
In bed next to her.
Yeah, she pleases herself with those jewels. Yeah, with the gold necklace and all that other stuff too. I was like, okay.
But Ursula is actually awake, because she says to Ursula, "Are you awake? Are you awake?" a couple of times.
Yeah, no, she all leans over to her. "You awake?" Okay, cool.
She like opens her up but closes it so she doesn't realize. And then she starts masturbating with this gold chain. It's like, it's out there. I will say that. It is out there, man.
I think that's the only time I've seen that in a Gialli before.
Oh God, yeah.
That's the first time for everything.
But Dagmar, like she's this. How would you say she is? Because for me, even though she likes Filippo, there's something, I don't know, about her character that she's kind of solemn and sad.
I think her character is like an exhibitionist, and I think she's very submissive as a character. I think she wants to be loved. She looks like that character that wants
to be loved.
Wants a man too. Yeah. And she sees him, and he is older, which is quite funny, but he plays a great part. He's a great actor.
Ursula seems to be holding her back as well from,
with a lot of things. Yeah. She's like the bipolar one and stuff like that too. And Dagmar's kind of her protector and stuff like that, helps her out and do all this stuff, almost like a babysitter to her.
Like a babysitter, carer type thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Figure. But yeah, so we see Filippo then, he gets really sick because he goes through drug withdrawal, I think it is.
He's like, "Oh, please give me something. Please. Please." It's like,
yeah. But that's with the whole thing when he goes to see who like the names in that black book that we don't know at the time. But we
Yeah.
realize a bit later on they're all drug dealers and
Yeah, they're all
what have
drug
you.
dealers. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. But yeah, so the killer then, we see the killer then with green eyes again, visits Jenny. She rings Vanessa to come over for like a threesome, I think it is, or something, she wants someone to like watch.
That's the thing. She's all doing the dance and stuff like that. She's wearing like a green sash and stuff like that too. That's where she gets a knock at the door. She's like, "Oh, hi. Oh, yeah, sure." Yeah, it brings Vanessa because Vanessa's in love with her. So like I say,
Right.
she's a prize to these ladies. She's a prize to these ladies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. The killer does the old voyeur thing again, and they're watching.
Watches the ladies do their thing, which is always good. Some sexy time with the ladies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, as you do.
Both gorgeous.
They are, yeah. I think every woman in this film,
of course,
is stunning. You wouldn't expect any different, really. But
sometimes not on purpose. You see some of that cleavage not on, like accidentally. It seems they just put it on like it's no thing. I'm like, dude, it's like.
I've always wondered,
that's great acting. I mean,
I've always wondered whether, because some of these like scenes to come as well, like almost like that fine line between hardcore porn and not
really extreme. It's extreme hardcore.
There's oral sex scenes in this film that are quite literally real. You can tell
it's very mean. It's a very mean film.
Yeah.
Like I say, as these murders are happening too, the guy in charge of everything and stuff like that as well.
I think
Roberto's all like, oh great, another murder. They'll link it to the resort and all this other stuff too. Those kids getting killed and now another one.
Yeah, he gets spooked at this point. But yeah, just the attack on Jenny as well. Exactly
same thing. Yeah, the same thing. Gets up, whack. That's after they leave because they don't know that they're there. So basically, Vanessa doesn't know that the killer's there.
Exactly. Yeah. So the lesbian, girl who's been killed, she goes obviously missing.
Yeah, she goes missing. Yeah.
No one's seen her, heard of her.
Yeah, Vanessa calls her, but there's nobody answering the phone. Nobody's here. That's when she, she confronts Roberto about it. It's like, what did you do to her? I didn't do anything to her. Like everything goes to Filippo like automatically. Like it's or Roberto, excuse me. So everything just goes to him. Everything goes to him.
Yeah, you've got that really weird scene there where Ursula actually directs her to the body of Jenny. She takes her to the body.
Yeah, into the catacombs, and then leaves her there, and then just goes. It's like, and then she sees her, and then she screams and stuff like that. And a great scene with Ursula running out. So it's almost a continuous thing. I love that. Almost like Brian De Palma would do, right? You get that just the tunnel vision and just them just running out and stuff like that. I love that about this film.
She's telling her dad to go away as well.
Yeah,
go away. She's running off. She's going, go away. And that's all in the abandoned wing of the hotel. Ursula told
that should tell you what's going on here. I'm just saying that when you see this for the second time, like we have, or whatever times we have, you kind of know. You're like, oh, well, there's a red herring right there.
The light bulb.
That's the light bulb going off, definitely.
But Ursula's told as well, Vanessa, that she saw Roberto drag the body down there.
Yeah.
So you've got that going up, and then you've got Roberto, finds the dead body of Jenny. What does he do? He doesn't go to the police.
That's right, because Vanessa confronts him and stuff like that because they're married.
Exactly.
So they're married, and it's like, give me a cigarette. He lights her a cigarette and stuff like that. What happened? And he, says, "Don't lie to me. Tell me the truth." And what's his name? Filippo happens to be there, and he has a smirk on his face, and he tells him basically tells him the story of what happened with her.
Right. Yeah. So you've got, Roberto's found Jenny dead, literally, and he's just like you say, he covers it up. But he's worried about whether he'd be accused of being the killer himself. All the publicity for the hotel would have been bad, so he's, that's his reason behind it. Ursula, supernaturally, that's when you get supernaturally. She opens the door, and Dagmar gets the doctor to come and see her, and they do this. The doctor gives this big speech about how supernatural kind of things can go on in real life, and I don't know how convinced you was of that, Chris.
First off, you saw how Jenny looked when he man, and she was limp too. So good job for her for playing limp there.
Oh man, the aftermath. Sorry, yeah, of the
Yeah,
kill
the
also, like-
aftermath is pretty brutal because the killer basically, took the weapon and did you know what to her
yeah.
down in the lower area. It's all bloody down there and all this other stuff too, and you're like, damn, yeah.
It is. It doesn't hold back in that regards, like you say. What you don't see in the actual kill sequences, we see at the end, and yeah, it's never good to see scenes like that, which are in all three of these films. To be fair,
Yes.
like there's genital mutilation in all three. But yeah, but then you've got it all. Her supernatural ability kind of tracks back. The doctor says to her childhood trauma. He said this could really bring all this on. I'm not sure that's fucking real, to be honest, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So her father killed himself, which Ursula does not know. They kind of kept that from her.
Yeah.
But he killed himself for the reason of being impotent, which is kind of strange, but
Yeah, you find out more about him towards the end of the film and stuff like that, of how he would act, his
right.
His hobbies, his his quirks, what he liked to do.
Oh god, yeah. So we find out then obviously the Stella has been smuggling the drugs, but Filippo tries to blackmail her. He says, look, I want X amount of drugs. If you don't, I'm gonna pretty much go to the police, or I'm gonna tell Roberto.
Yeah, just go to the police or something like that.
Yeah, and tell Roberto.
Yeah.
This you've got all that going on, and that's where the whole twist at the end of it.
Well, that's when she goes to her lover's room, Roberto's room, and stuff like that. It's like going, I saw you come in and stuff like that, and they really do they do it hardcore style, man. Then
they fucking did that for real. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
man.
dude, they had to.
That guy's face is all up in there.
Missionary and all this other stuff too, and stuff like that. Boy,
yeah.
man,
and he's
I was like, maybe they knew each other in real life. Maybe they knew each other. Maybe their boyfriend, girlfriend initially.
She only
I don't
did
know.
4 films as well. I'm thinking she may have been a porno actress, but she wasn't. She's a British actress, I think, as well.
That's when she tells him kind of that she's being blackmailed by him and stuff like that. Says, I wouldn't worry about him. He's like harmless and stuff like that. I have shit on him anyway. I wouldn't worry about it.
That scene is kind of weird though, because he's 60, and Stella Shining's mid-20s, I'd say.
Mid-20s.
Absolutely stunning. But yeah, but then we get the green-eyed killer again, attack Stella.
That's where shit hits the fan.
That's where you see that silhouette. Like, I was on about earlier of the kind of this big dick type.
You see it kind of like once or twice. You see it just go like that, and then that's when they both go there and see it. They open the door, and she's dead, like really dead, like brutally, like basically been penetrated by this weapon, blood all over the place and stuff like that. That's where you see Filippo have a big smirk on his face, and that's when stuff. Basically, the shit hits the fan for the most part. What's going on, Synth? I see you in the chat. Welcome, Synth Side. Really appreciate you dropping and saying hi.
Yeah, what's up, man? But yeah, Dagmar, she's now at the point where she's just sick of Ursula and she runs off to the beach. And then you've got the whole twist then with Filippo, So Filippo's
undercover police officer.
Yeah, his real name is Gianni Nardi, and he's this lieutenant of the narcotics squad. All the male guests in the hotel, which Stella Shining, they all thought was sleeping with, are literally just like narcotics members, just
undercover cops.
Yeah, just watching.
Because she was the witness, and it's like since the only witness is dead, but it's okay. That's when he shows him the book of everybody, and that's when.
Right. Yeah, he's banged the rights, and Roberto's pretty much banged the rights. Vanessa's arrested too.
She says she has to go. He's like, I'm going to go take a shower, right?
Yeah, and they let her do that as well.
That's the last you see of her.
Yeah, they literally let her just go, arrest
She's
her.
like, looking at everything like that. Oh, you're part of this too and stuff like that. She's like, okay, I'm going to, because there's this elevator. That's when Dagmar goes, it's Dagmar's like, whoa, like in a trance almost. She's like, I have to go, whatever. That's when Filippo says, here's the key to my room. You can use it.
Yeah, and that's where Ursula catches her in his room, actually, doesn't she? And she calls her a slut, I think it is. And you've got the big kind of reveal at the end as well. We've already had
Color a
that
slut
one
and
twist.
stuff like that. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're dirty, dirty, dirty. I took out those people because, and here you go.
But here's the whole reason why, you know, the kind of killer conclusion, if you will. So Ursula is found wearing their father's suit and hats. You got like the black hat. She starts calling Dagmar Martha, the name of her mother, which is kind of weird. And threatens her with this giant wooden dildo, like we said, like the killer weapon. She smacks her sister, like, and then Gianni comes and saves the day. Filippo comes and saves the day. And then you got the whole accident, like where
she goes back, and it's really black. That seems like really black, where you don't see the window. That was the only thing that kind of put me off. Like
done
a
on
bit.
a same stage, you can tell.
Where it's like, you know, backs her up and stuff like that. And you know, there's a window there, just backs up. She's like, no, don't come near me. Don't touch me. And then all of a sudden just like drops like Ursula, you know, and all this stuff too. That's where the film ends and stuff. And you see the great Mark Perel just turn around with his him in his hair and just goes like this. And it just stops right there. I'm like, whatever.
Do you know what, right? So that ending, right, like you say, Mark Perel, he turns around, there's like a freeze frame of him putting his hair kind of
near the window where she fell at, and
so
it's
good.
Broad daylight. Of course it's supposed to be that. So that's the one thing. I mean, you know, you can't help it, but yeah,
that ending is so good because it doesn't explain too much away. I know we've got the full explanation, but we don't know what's going to happen with
with Gialli. You get those abrupt endings, and it makes you think about. That's why you like this, because it makes you think about, well, what's going to happen with these characters.
Exactly, and that's why for me this is a high-end Giallo. This is a high 9. It would have been.
Oh wow, I'm impressed.
If you go back to Dirk and my stream, I rated an 8, but going back this time it went up 1. This is one of my favorite Giallis of all time. I can't speak highly enough of this, man.
Okay. Originally I gave this like a 5.5 out of 10, to tell you the truth, because I was conflicted about it. I was conflicted about it the first time watching it. Okay. The second time watching it, it's a good solid 6 out of 10. It can go up to a 7 out of 10, you know. But yeah, it was a good second time watch. And it's a, like I say, good one. All-time great cast, great acting here, beautiful actresses and stuff like that. If you like Giallo like this, sleazy Giallo like this, which I do, this is for you. This box set is for you. I think this is still available, if not.
It's
but
the best
it's
one.
worth it. It's worth it for all these films. So yeah, for right now, it gets a good 6 out of 10. To your point, Darren, I'm very impressed that you like it that much. So that's good.
I'm disappointed. I wanted you to like it a little bit more, I think.
I do really like it and stuff like that. It's just for all the Giallo I've seen. You know, I put them in tiers now, kind of.
It may go higher.
Yeah, it may go higher. So if I'm going like ABC tier and stuff like that, this would probably be like a B- tier of a Giallo and stuff like that.
And I know I'm in the minority, you know. I know not many.
Oh, don't even trip about that. We both love this anyway and stuff like that. We love the freaky stuff and what have you and stuff like that. But no, that's a very good ranking like that, and very good synopsis on the film. Like I say, these both Hand It to Vinegar Syndrome. People like to shit on them a lot. I don't care. This one's a good one. Like I say, it has its special features there on the side and stuff like that. So you have newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35 millimeter original camera negative. Nobody else would release this film. There'd be no way any company would release this. So, you know, but it's very good. We both highly recommend it. But yeah, that's the Sister of Ursula. With another name, I do like this full kind of picture, but I do like the whole blade with her dancing in it.
That was on the DVD cover, and it looks so good.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
And I'm glad now that this is maybe not even a forgotten Gialli anymore, because people are watching.
Absolutely,
now, which is great.
Anybody in chat, if you've seen the Sister of Ursula, go ahead and mention that in the chat. What you think of the Gialli in general too, because we appreciate your thoughts too, and if you have a ranking for it as well for what you've seen, we'd appreciate it as well. Put that in the comments too if you're going to watch the replay as well. We want to know your opinions on if you like the genre of Gialli and what you consider to be a very good Gialli too. So it gives us information too what else we could do on this show, on this pod in general.
I see Lawrence had a few comments earlier.
Yeah. He mentioned, like, say, black gloves and Giallo flicks go hand in hand. Yeah, definitely. You know, that's why I kind of just do what I do now, kind of my new shtick. kind of with the channel. He also mentioned like, yeah, traveling in horror always is a staging device to indicate that we're exploring the central character psychology, and that's definitely true here. Yeah, definitely.
It is.
That's what I love about the genre in general. A lot of them are character pieces. You get introduced to a lot of these characters. If a Giallo's done right, they introduce you to the characters. You see their likes and their dislikes and their miscomings and all this other stuff too. The whodunit atmosphere, the Agatha Christie, as they always like to compare that to, the Alfred Hitchcock type stuff as well, you know, and everything's a proto slasher because without Giallo, we don't get slashers. So, you know, so it's good stuff.
I like Giallo more than slashers now, to be honest. I think there's more like with the like average slasher story.
It's definitely more stylized, and I like the style of it. Definitely,
exactly.
I like the style, I like the beauty of it.
The music is even better in these.
Giallo the music
films.
Is on point. We don't get stuff like Halloween without Giallo.
Yeah,
the thing for Halloween we don't get without Goblin scores and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, the characters in these Giallo films as well. Like you've got so many like there's so much going on. Rather. Like in a slasher film, it's usually like you've got the plot, you've got the killer, and you've got kids.
You got the body count, you got the tropes.
Yeah, but with these, you've got all sorts of other shit.
Yeah, definitely. So that's like I say, that's the Sister of Ursula. Like I say, very good. 1978, man, done a year before I was born, and that's probably one of the last really good ones. To your point, Darren, that was done during the 70s. It's crazy you get these films towards the tail end of that. It's very good. Next up is a very cool one. Dirk had talked about. I've done a Giallo review on it. This one's a banger, man. That's The Killer Is Still Among Us from 1986. Go ahead, Darren. Lead us off here.
This is an incredible film, I think. So underrated even to this day. So there was a case called The Monster of Florence, which me and Dirk did. Pretty much like covered the whole real life case. Go over to Subjective Perspective Collective and check that out.
Yeah.
There was a few films that come out because of that case, and at the time this came out, they didn't even know the killer, you know. So the case was ongoing, and I mean literally today you could say the case is ongoing.
There was a trial done.
Well, no,
but there was a trial done, but like no witnesses. But they had photographs and they had newspaper clippings. Of course, there was a film that was called that was done, I think, after this one, like a little bit after or before?
I think they were done the same year, 86, The Monster of Florence.
Yeah.
There's one called... Go on.
I think, real quick, I think there's more than one killer. That's just me. They stated that it's one person. I don't think so. It's very interesting, though, that these serial killers like to go up to 12 or 13. You notice that? So there's the Bundys and the Ridgeways, right, are kind of outliers. They kind of in a thing by themselves because they kill more often and stuff like that. To me, I don't think you get a gap that big without there being another person here. But that's just my opinion.
I think the original case is well known for there being at least like 2 or 3 killers at the same time.
Yeah, it's like the Hillside Strangler case, you know.
Yeah. If you want to go into like a really big rabbit hole, because me and Dirk did it, I spent a week researching the whole case.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy to do. I love this shit. Yeah.
Then do that, and then I would start with a couple of documentaries on YouTube as well. Just type in Monster of Florence, you get all that.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, this film directed by Camelia Tetti. 1986. He was the producer of Killer Crocodile 1 and 2.
Yeah, he did some stuff.
He did, yeah.
The Other Hell too. He was part of, right? That's a nunsploitation film. Goblin did the score for that one, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much he did. He was associate producer on The Dead or Alive, 1972. And that's Crispino Giallo. That's I mentioned that in the last stream. Funny enough, we did. It's not great. Production manager on The Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Yeah.
Unit manager on Ring of Fear, not the 78 one. This is the 69 one with Franco Nero. But yeah, he wrote the film along with Ernesto Gastaldi, Giuliano Camonero.
Who didn't think too much. Gastaldi didn't think too much of this one, but he did his research on that and did what he could. With the information. Of course, this wasn't done in Florence. Hardly anything was done in Florence for that reason, because the families of the victims and stuff like that are,
Right.
would be
Yeah.
angry.
So the director of the case of the Bloody Iris, Giuliano Caminero.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, definitely, Darren. Yeah, like
so,
almost got this. How about that? That's crazy.
You got music by Deco Marianano. They did The Fourth Wall. That's a Giallo from '69. Cinematography is Giuseppe Bernardini. He did Fatal Frames. You've got to fucking watch that if you've not seen Fatal Frames. It's great, from '96. Fear in the City from 1978, and The Other Hell. Yeah, like Chris mentioned. The cast is not, they weren't like a big well-known cast in this one, I don't think.
They do a great job, man.
They do. It's very low
Giovanni
budget.
Vicentine is a great actor as Dr. Alex, dude. He is so good in this. It's like
he is probably the star, the standout.
He has to be the star, just the way his mannerisms are and stuff like that too. And when you deal in forensics, yeah, you kind of have that. And he's a fan of horror films, so what can you say? Fan of Hitchcock.
He was in The Card Player, Argento.
Yeah.
He did Private Crimes with Sergio Martino. So yeah, he was in 3 episodes of that. The lead actress is Marian Geller di Abugacchio. I can't even.
Yeah, I can't say it here, so it's like
but
Mariangela di Abugacchio. Yes, Christina.
Not really known for anything, I don't think.
She's very pretty.
Oh man, there's a topless scene with her, which is fucking insane. The only one of note then is Riccardo Parisio Perotti. He plays Professor Carriera's dad. He was in Craving Desire from Martino.
He was in a Fulci film too, wasn't he? Or in a couple Fulci films.
Yeah, he was in The Psychic and he was in Murder Rock.
Yeah.
Murder in the Blue Light as well from 1992. But they're like the main cast. I'd say a lot of the others are pretty much unknown. But yeah, this one starts off with a bang, I would say. Would you?
Oh, dude, yeah. Lovers Lane killings, like the Town That Dreaded Sundown. You kind of have similarities to those two films wise, both based off actual events.
You've got the opening of Final Exam. You've got the opening of Superstition, where you've got the kids in a car.
I know, that's hilarious. So it's a trope that they use, but it works. It works here for this. It's a brutal scene. Just this couple making love in this car, and the killer comes up and shoots them point blank. Like, was it through the window? I think it is.
I think it's through the window in the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes and drags her out. Well, kills her. Drags her out because they're all. Make no mistake, these women are already dead. They're not alive.
He goes beyond.
He goes beyond that. The killer pokes at her with the blade that they have. And then takes a tree branch, breaks it off, and sticks it in her vagina after she's dead. Like very ritualistic, kind of like Satanic Panic style. Like it seems to be that way. This is of course it's a sleazy Giallo, but it's a very hateful Giallo too. Like the killer hates these people for what they are.
Oh yeah, that's branch scene as well. Because in the film, that branch scene is quite small, but in real life, in the real case, it was a lot bigger and a lot, worse. But they can't really, they didn't go. But although they do go beyond their means in the last scene, but we'll come on to that. But yeah, the whole opening, like you say, with the POV.
Yeah, the last scene is based off almost an accurate account of what happened, too, which is crazy. Yes, a seance, but we'll get to that, which is always cool to see in these films.
With the tent scene, that's to come. But so this killer is just brutal. He's mutilating private parts and all sorts. You've got Kiriara. She's this young type of criminology student. She's really doing a big kind of dissertation on the case of the monster of Florence. She's really interested to the point where she gets her friend who's, I think her father's like one of the chief of police, and she goes to like the murder scene early on to try and get.
Yeah, that's where the professor's at. Yeah,
shit, what's going on? He kind of warns her off a little bit, doesn't he? The professor, he's like, well, you shouldn't really be looking into this.
Do you want to really see this? When she talks to Alex in the morgue, basically, because that's when he shows that's when he shows her this stuff like that. She takes the mask off and stuff like that too, and he puts it back in there. Yeah, and he looks at her face like, "You sure?" He warns her many times. You sure? You sure you want to? It's like, do something else. He like you say, there's a lot of red herrings in this too. There's a lot of whodunit type stuff. Makes you think about it.
He's a massive red herring, isn't he?
Yeah,
yeah. He's too obvious to be the killer, like all the way through. Everything points to this guy as well, because at the murder scene,
he's kind of an introvert, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
to tell you the truth. It's like, yeah.
At the murder scene, they find a box of like this common medication used to restore the balance of like a nervous system, and then we find out a little bit later on that he's actually taking this, so he's like number one.
Right, well, she goes to see a voyeuristic doctor that works in the same facility as Alex does. That dude.
Oh yeah. There's a few strange people in this as well.
Yeah,
like red herrings. But yeah, that's when you see. So Alex kind of like does his charm on her. He asks her out, doesn't he? I think to go to
he kind of does,
film and all that. And then he says to her like, "So what woman can resist like being asked to do like Gialli?" And she's like, "Yeah, and they hit it off. But they fall for each other really quickly in this
right.
film.
She like goes,
same night,
like, "You want to meet my parents?" and stuff like that. And he's like, "Okay, cool." Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, enough more than a woman that wants me to meet her parents and stuff like that." Of course, that's a ruse, and they make love there in her apartment where she's.
And that's where we see a shot where they kind of tease you a little bit. So we see her topless, but like it's kind of in a way she puts her back to the camera, and I'm thinking, oh shit, man, I love like her body is incredible. I just leave it at that without being too pervy, but yeah, if she'd have done other films, I'm sure she would have got other roles and been asked to go completely naked because she's stunning. But yeah, in terms of like, she finds out that the same gun was used in the 1974 killings, and like the guy turns around, he said they're literally like fingerprints. No two are the same. The casings where
the casings,
shoot, of the bullets. So yeah, so it's all traced to like this case now. We pretty much know this case has been going on for what, say, at least 12 years at this point. 74, but
74 to 89.
Yeah, if you do kind of delve deep into the original case, it was like the late 60s. I think all the shit was going
68,
on.
I think.
Or it's debated.
Yeah, debated. Like there was stuff going on in 68. They're trying to
We're not entirely sure that the 68 stuff was...
Because you need patterns. Like you say, serial killers aren't all over the place. They're extremely rare. Doctors used to talk about that back in the days. Like, oh, yeah, you can get them like all over the place. No, that's not true. They're very, very unique. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you've got this strange man meets the professor. You've got a couple of weird characters. You've got that Beery character. I gets arrested at one point for being a killer, but it's quite clearly not him. But someone's watching Christiana. I think, is that the way you pronounce her name? Christiana?
Yeah, Christiana.
Someone's following her in this white van. They're watching her every move.
It's a hospital. It's a hospital vehicle, I think.
Yeah. Is it like I think it,
because she turns and looks at him, and then she thinks nothing of it, because there's a scene where she like turns when she's just talking to her, and then she just turns back and starts walking with her friends. So it's like
exactly,
and she sees the van parked there.
She gets these creepy phone calls telling her to drop doing this,
Yeah. I like that.
I like that. She tells the police who tell her literally to stop studying the case, while she's at the police station. She sees this weird man being brought in. He's like, she finds out that he's actually kind of like a doctor or a gynecologist or whatever it is at one point. But yeah, it does get like kind of creepy where the whole
there is that scene where she goes to see that doctor, I guess.
That
finds out that he's a voyeur and stuff like that. That's where she gets like terrified. She's trying to leave. She can't open up the lock and stuff like that. And that's one of the newer locks that had just the turn thing on there. She's no lock, and the nurse just goes like that. Okay, there you go.
She asks the policeman in the police station, what's he in you for? Like, and he tells him straight up, he's like, he's really creepy. He's like a
yeah.
But that's where you got the gynecologist.
Voyeur, yeah. He likes watching people.
Oh yeah, yeah. But he gets really weird with her as well. When she sat in the office with him, and she kind of like her friend has to leave quickly because she's not very well and all that, and she can't get out of there quick enough because she says to him, "I'm not." He says to her, then he goes something along the lines of, "Oh, just go behind the curtain and get undressed," and she's like, "No, I want to know about psychology part," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then she gets
because he's like an OBGYN, which is a trip. Yeah, he's like
realizes he's a fucking oddball, like, and she's out of there. Like,
he plays a good part. He plays the creeper quite well and stuff like that. He has those. He kind of has like those circles under his eyes, like I do. Kind of like that, right? Where it's like,
he becomes a prime suspect as well. So you've got her boyfriend, you've got him, you've got that Beery character. They're like the main three. Suspects. But then you've got the whole. It takes another turn. Then the whole plot where she kind of been delving deeper into everything. She realizes there's a thing called this Devil's Bar Tavern.
Yeah.
And all the members of this bar, all the people that go in there,
are all voyeurs.
And they got this voyeurs club where they go out in the middle of the woods and
a bartender.
They record fucking people having sex and shit and all that. And
the creepers, they go up to the back of the car and stuff like that, and I'll peek in like the fog-soaked windows and stuff like that from perspiration.
Oh yeah, that's where she second sees that Beery, because she's seen him in the police station, I believe it's, or did she see him in the college? And then she realized college. That's right, and she realizes, that was him.
She sees him out there. There's a scene where goes out, this blonde takes her out there on her motorcycle.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Her in her skirt and stuff like that too on that motorcycle with her.
She's like,
and stuff like that.
I'll fucking let you know all you need to know for like $300, but like this is going to be a one-time thing. And
there's a cool scene here with a hand warmer, but it's used with a cigarette. So the guy's smoking a cigarette, or he just smokes like a little bit of a cigarette. He puts it in this compartment too, and he closes it. There's your hand warmer right there because it's cold outside. I was like, oh, okay.
Right. So the whole bartender, he turns around and he says, look, if you kind of come back a little bit later on, I can tell you everything about what's going on. And
that's kind of weird. Weird kind of scenario with what happens with that, because you're like, that kind of had that just came out of nowhere. It's just kind of be put in there to be put in there, but it's good for the whole psychological effect for the film.
Well, it comes into play as well. But the thing is as well, because if you're thinking, why would she go on her own late at night to one of these places? She did ask her friend, who kind of bailed out on her.
Yeah, because Alex dropped her off, I think. Like, can you drive me somewhere? Where to? Oh, it's called the Devil's Bar. Is like, okay. Right. Doesn't ask questions.
Exactly. But yeah, it is really weird with that blonde girl, but it's kind of like a really cool scene. There's a really kind of weird, strange soundtrack in this film, which I love, but it literally does sound that it was done on like a Casio keyboard or something.
Yeah, like synth.
A synth, but it's really catchy. It comes into play a few times throughout the film, and I really like it. I don't know why it's cheap and all that. The film is really, what would you call this, Chris? It's ultra low budget, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but the camera works really good, and it's Ernesto Gastón.
Oh, yeah.
But back then, and like I say, this film got shunned by critics like they all do. They had to cut out a lot of stuff from this film that we'll get to, almost like it's a video nasty, to tell you the truth. But, you got this during this time. Like I say, this is a transitionary period for Giallo. You can see the transition. Like I say, a lot of these Giallos, and don't take this the wrong way, became more hateful. The killers became a lot more brutal, a lot more hateful. The crimes are more sexualized and stuff like that too. So just think of the Giallos that you saw in the 70s, just up that a little bit with the volume.
I was going to say with this one, right? So you've got the New York Ripper come out 4 years before.
Yeah. That's actually based off actual killings in New York. New Times Square serial killer, or the Times Square killer. Yeah.
So this even ups if you can believe it or not, right? There's
it ups it. It ups it a lot.
Fucking ups the New York Ripper.
It does.
Takes it to 10. When New York Ripper's up there anyway, but this
of course,
far above and beyond. So while Christiana's at home, we see a quick flash of another couple getting killed. She tells Alex that she saw Professor Leonardi at the Voyeur bar. That's Kira's father. That's a weird scene as well, where the police inspector's actually at the bar and he's like, was he going undercover? I know she does mention that maybe he was, but or is he just a fucking dark individual?
Yeah, maybe he's just that person. Hey, everyone has their vices, right? So yeah,
that's what I got out of it.
Strange vice. Yeah. Strange vice.
Strange vice indeed. Yeah. I got out the fact that I think he was just up to no good.
That's good. I missed that. I do remember seeing that, but I did miss that second showing. That's a good deal, Darren.
Yeah, she does slightly talk about it, but she notices that Alex, then her boyfriend, is left-handed, and we realize the killer's left-handed. And she sees another big, like, kind of red herring is the bloody gloves in the bin.
Right. He says, because I was dealing with a poisoning victim and stuff like that too.
Right. Why would you take that home with you?
I think they're in bed together and stuff like that too. And he goes, "You think I'm the killer, don't you?" And she's like, "No, I don't. I wouldn't be dating you if you were." And stuff like that with that smirk on her face. She doesn't look believable when she says that because she's good at hiding it. So I do kind of like that. And he's like, because he like almost smiles. He's like, "You think I'm the killer, don't you?"
Oh,
it's dude, it's just say it.
So we find out then that little flashback of people, another couple being killed. Her friend tells her then this was a murder from last night. Cristiano then, she really does start to suspect Alex. She arranges to meet that bartender again. And Alex hates her talking about the Il Mostro case, the Monster of Venice case, Florence case, I should say. And it all gets kind of really, the way it's going towards the end, you can see is the conclusion going to come quickly? Are we going to get a conclusion because of the case in general? Because do you know what I mean? But then
exactly.
She finds out that Barry, and he's been taken in and questioned by the police for the killings. And then she thinks it's cut and dry then, is this it?
Because they supposedly got the person.
Yeah. And she kind of,
she's all happy about it and stuff like that.
Sigh of relief a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a great scene. I don't know what you think about the next scene, but where she's literally at home with Alex, and she tells him that she wants to go and see this bartender, and he's like, "Well, no, it's a horror film on I want to see." She said, "Well, we can go after if you want." And he's like,
"That's where he has to leave for 30 minutes." He says,
"Yeah, I got to nip out back to work, and I'll be back in 30 minutes." So she's in the apartment, we've got all the fucking atmosphere. She's on her own and all that.
Yeah, the lights go out.
The lights go out. The door.
Or do they? Think about that, Jack. Or do they? Yeah.
Right. And there's the whole thing with the keys as well, where she said to him, "I need to have your keys for the house because I've lost mine." So he's literally with no keys. So is he the one that's trying the door? But it gets really kind of suspenseful, and the lights go out, and typical fucking Giallo slasher type moments. I love all that.
Yeah, doesn't she look through the peephole, and
she sees the eye, didn't she? And that's another staple of the Giallo genre. You see the eye coming from deep red and fucking eyeball Lindsay's eyeball and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. I love all that. I think the film. I love the film anyway up until this point, but I think the last 30 minutes of this is fucking superb. It can compete with anything in the Giallo genre, I think.
It's very good Hitchcockian type stuff too, and what have you, because that's where the lights come back on, and then it's like it's Alex at the door and stuff like that, lets him in and stuff like that too.
Yeah, he's banging on the door.
You said it was going to be 30 minutes and stuff like that. He's like, "Yeah, well, I had to just do whatever and stuff like that too." And because she's like, is that when she has a chicken out there or a bird? I think she's eating or something like that, waiting for him. Yeah.
He brings a chicken to warm up, doesn't he? But all the way through, you was on about that Alex character, the boyfriend. You kind of like him.
No, I do. I love his character.
He's a Gialli fan. He likes Hitchcock.
He's a horror fan. He likes Hitchcock. There's literally a film that they go to towards the end of this film that has Hitchcock on the thing. That's a great nod to films like that.
Oh man, wait till we talk about that ending. I love that.
A quick part too with this film too. Like I say, there's a lot of sex and violence in this film. I harken back to opera because Dario Argento was the first one to mention the whole thing. These films were done during the AIDS pandemic. Let's not forget that. And talk about COVID and all this stuff too. AIDS was a big thing.
Yeah,
big thing. Men and women were afraid to have sex, specifically men that used needles and all this other stuff too, that were voyeurs, that were gay and stuff like that too. It was very big. We didn't know how it did what it did at the time. So everyone was really, on edge about that. And films like this, boy, just kind of up that ante a bit on how impactful they can be as films in general.
You just reminded me then, right? There's a film, right, called City in Panic. And it's pretty much, it's not Italian, but it's almost like a Giallo killer. And it's all to do with the AIDS virus as well.
Yeah.
That's
like
one I've literally not thought about that film until you mentioned what you just did in 5-10 years. So
yeah,
maybe I'll have to get Dirk onto that. We'll have to cover that at some point.
It is dark stuff, that's for sure.
But yeah, so then she gets, and this is where the film does go ultra dark. So she meets up with this bartender, and she finds the place all in darkness.
It's all black, yeah.
Man, and he's just hanging fucking dead from the
blood starts dripping on her shoulder. She doesn't notice that until she goes up and she literally swallows that blood because she has her mouth open and she's just screaming.
Right.
And he either hung himself or somebody strung him up there. So
yeah,
because he's really way up there. And that's a weird WTF type of red herring there, because you're like, well, wait a minute, who did that or what happened? Because it makes you think that the killer knows that she knows, and something like that.
The
too.
killer
so maybe that was a warning.
He's like this main, he's the like bartender in this fucking
he's an informant
club.
Yeah.
So he knows everything anyway. So the killer is on to her, like you say.
Yeah.
But she pretty much has come up with like a profile for the killer. It's someone who feels like common morals. A remorseless individual. I think the doctor says, doesn't he, or one of the professors?
Yeah, say he's impotent, that he, that's very sadistic, a sadist and stuff like that too. That he hates, basically.
Yeah,
the women mostly. That he hates
himself. Women. He deems himself like a god.
Like he'll straight up kill the men. He'll straight up kill the men.
Yeah.
He'll kill the woman too, but then he violates her. So he takes away. I want to get all sentimental about it and technical. He takes away her innocence. He takes away everything. Takes away her soul. Takes it away.
He enjoys giving putting punishment. Basically.
Yeah, God complex to the point. Like a scalpel. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you've got. So he seems to be inspired by certain like ancient Mediterranean pre-Christian sacrificial rituals found in agricultural societies. There could be like a female touch to the killings as well, because he says that who's to say that the killer is not female, which again blows everything open even more.
Yeah.
And he mentions the fact that it could be a witch of some kind, maybe. But yeah, he does say something profound as well. He's like, the killer will strike again, and he will strike at like shorter and shorter intervals.
Yeah.
And he seems to be like, he's the wise character of the film, I think. He should have been the police kind of inspector, I think.
Serial killer, too, when this is very impulsive. Like I say, you get them pissed off, and they'll do more and more. You can tell if the killings get more brutal and more frequent, they're pissed off. So it's like...
Oh, yeah. So
like you open up a can of worms, basically, what maybe the killer's thinking. It's like she opens up something she shouldn't have opened now.
Yeah, like any
people that are close to her are going to pay for it. So
right, and she starts getting tracked down by this ambulance. This white ambulance tries to run her down.
Yeah,
and you've got the whole scene then where kind of one of her friends is getting married.
Yeah, it's getting married. Yeah, see the husband out there saying, "Oh, you can't go and see the wife." Like, yeah, of course I can't. And like no, and whatever like that. That's a very sad scene with that, in my opinion. So it hits pretty good with that, since it's a friend of hers, because she was getting married.
Like, yeah, I said
because her friend makes a joke. It's like going, "Oh, it's okay. ease the tension if you make love to him or something like that beforehand and stuff like that. And
Right, where
that's
she
what they
says,
do.
yeah, they
Yeah.
made love in the car. But
That's a great scene. That's a great scene. He
it
takes
is,
out
yeah, 'cause
both
it
the
sets it up.
headlights, and then a great, almost Brian De Palma type, like it's almost like slow motion, shatters the window and kills him, not once but twice.
Right. You know it's not going to end well, put it that way,
No.
for them. But yeah, like you say, a friend gets
Yeah,
married. The
you see the
creepy,
newspaper clipping. It shows it on the paper that she died.
you've got the scene with a creepy gynecologist. He's in the morgue.
Right, because
She's
he's
there
bringing the medicine. He's bringing that stuff to Dr. Alex. He's like going,
exactly,
"Oh,
yeah,
fancy
yeah.
meeting you here. So I guess you need to see him too." You know.
And he says something, doesn't he? Like, he said he needs this medication because he's in constant kind of
Yeah.
with the dead. He's always
And then he
touching the
fades
dead
away. Then he goes out the door because I think somebody enters, not him, but I think somebody enters, and he just like exits the fray.
Yeah, Alex is taken ill as well, isn't he? And nothing. I think he got to take the ambulance home or whatever himself.
Yeah, he asked that. Is like, "Where's that? His car's still here and stuff like that." The battery died, so he took the ambulance home, and he's obviously in the bedroom because that's where I guess she sleeps on the couch and she has that dream.
Yeah. At this point, she's still getting the funny phone calls as well.
And she gets a dream of the window shattering, of basically of the killings happening, which is kind of a trip.
It is, yeah. It's like foreboding, but so yeah, you got the scene where the couple about to get married. They're stalked in the car, like Chris said, and then the car tries to get reverse into it.
Yeah, she tries to reverse it, and they get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, they realize then that Beery is not the killer because he was inside. He was inside as all this was going on.
That's why they're all depressed about it. Says, yeah, they just released him.
Yeah, Alex obviously takes the ambulance, and he says to her like the next day he had a massive
because
headache.
she's sleeping on the couch and stuff like that because he wakes her up. It's like 9. Aren't you supposed to be somewhere or something like that?
He's like, oh, I had to go and take a long walk because I get these kind of migraines or whatever.
I do that. I get headaches. I take walks, because it helps with the blood flow. So he's a good doctor. He knows what he's doing.
I get that as well.
You take the walks and it helps. The faster you walk or you jog, it helps the blood flow. So that's what you want.
So her friend then, Chiara, she's organized this seance, right? So they can summon Antonella, the murdered bride spirit.
Oh, that's so good.
It is fucking incredible scene, man. So they want to know, literally, they're trying to contact this victim to find out who her killer is. It's so fucking unique, man. And I know it's touched upon earlier with like Deep Red, and there is in Tragic Ceremony, the Giallo from '72. It's been
in a few. It was in City of the Living Dead. I mean, they do that.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I don't know the way it's done with this way, because we get flashbacks of the actual or kind of visions of the actual another kill that's happening at the same time. So it is kind of unique. But yeah, man, the ending to this is fantastic.
The way the guy that's doing this sounds like her. So it goes to a crime that actually did happen. This couple so how that crime went, he kills her, the killer kills her. He runs the wrong way and gets shot and killed. So he ran the wrong way initially and stuff like that in the true story and got killed. And the way they do it, that's how young couples do it. Right, it's drawn out and whatever like that, and like a slasher shit in the forest, in a tent and stuff like that. Getting ready to have sex, you're gonna die. And it's just and it just goes on to the events after that. He I think he comes out first, or he gets his throat slit, all kinds of stuff to that. She gets killed. He brings her out, and he has his way with her. The killer cuts off her nipples and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
and cuts off her vagina, like scalpels it off. Yeah,
it is fucking yeah.
Like
even for me, and I've seen a lot. It takes
the guy who did the practical effects for that did stuff for Fulci as well, like films from him and stuff like that as well. So it's
I think New York Ripper, but think worse is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The boyfriend Alex, he's gone off to see the Hitchcock film.
Yeah, because she drops him off. She
Yeah.
drops him off before she goes, and then he goes out there a little
Exactly.
bit. So you're thinking, is he going to follow her? Yeah.
But the whole thing with that scene that you just mentioned as well, the medium sees this, and then you see like the medium's throat being fucking cut, or like a gash on the medium's throat while they're saying,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on.
That's where the horror element comes into it a little bit.
Oh yeah. It is so gnarly, that scene, man. Like you say, you got the medium shows the same cut throat. The man's face is covered while the killer cuts the girl's nipple off.
Yeah, he puts like a metal plate or something over him. Yeah.
Yeah. He
doesn't want him to watch, even though he's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't want him to watch. So that goes to the voyeurism part. So that tells you how the killer thinks of that aspect of the whole thing too. It's like, how you're dirty, filthy pieces of shit that you're watching this stuff. How dare you watch this stuff?
Oh right, yeah. But then it doesn't end there. Like, you know, you've got I think one of the best endings in the Giallo film, where she kind of rushes off to go and see Alex.
Yeah, because she realizes it can't be him because
she thinks
it's
it might
right-handed
be
or something, right? Or...
No, still left-handed, the killer, but she realizes that if he's not at the cinema, that he could still be the killer. And then
because they're saying basically they saw another killing just happen.
Yeah.
Right,
so she breathes a sigh of relief. She takes forever to try to see where he is in the cinema screen.
That's pretty good.
But, it is, because she goes to leave, and then at the last moment she sees him and he's eating popcorn, and
he's like, "Oh, hi," and stuff like that. That's where you see the camera, first person view of somebody just walking up, kind of behind him.
Man,
in the
so
rows.
Fucking good, so good. This ending where you've got the point of view of the killer, and he goes to sit like beside them.
Yeah, she says, hello. She just says hello, I think, to him, and just goes back. And you see him sit right next to them. Now, this is a good transfer. Made me, after watching this a second time, made me think, I'm like, I paused it, and I'm like going, okay, who is it? Right? If you kind of recognize maybe the back of their head being sick like that, I'm like, who is it? And then just to end this, it basically shows the film, the killer is still among us right there in the movie that they're watching. Great score, by the way.
And you got to realize the killer in the real life case was still at large. So it's right that they didn't give a conclusion, I think.
The killer is among us, and it could be anybody, right? And it just shows, and well, it had a disclaimer too, didn't it? So, like at the end of it, it says, you know, this goes out to all the young people out there, or like a warning to all the young people out there and stuff like that, that this killer is still out there, because this was done in '89. Still out there. Just be careful. You know, it's like we make films like this for a reason and stuff like that to warn the public.
Was 86. This was.
These people. Yeah, 86. And unfortunately, these people lost their lives and all this other stuff as well. Yeah, great film.
Great way to end, I think. So it was called The Killer Has Returned as well. It was called Ferenzi di Assassino Ancora Tre Moi, and that was like the kind of Italian title to it. Yeah, man, one of the better kind of really unknown films, I think. And it's not going to be for everyone. It really isn't. I think you've got to be hardcore into Gialli to really, and gore.
This is a gem. You know? This is a gem in the set, definitely. What's your score, Darren?
So this one stayed the same, and it's still like a high 8.5 out of 10. I don't see that really changing. You know, if it did, it could even go to a 9. Who knows? But yeah, 8.5. I think it's a fucking solid film. I think it's one of the better unknown ones, to be honest.
Very good. I tend to agree. It gets a solid 8 out of 10 for me too. This is the highest one in the set, in my opinion. The highest score I'm going to give this film. Definitely, I think it's going to stay there and stuff. To me, this is highly rewatchable. It's greatly shot, greatly directed. Of course, it's Ernesto Gastaldi. One of the films, like I said, he's done like over 500,000 screenwrites and all this other stuff too.
Oh yeah, he's a legend.
Like I said, this film was dogged by their their reviewers and stuff like that as well.
He
But
did distance himself from the film, though, didn't he?
he did. Yeah, he distanced
He
himself.
pretty much just
He
said
did a good job with what he had.
A really bad film.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great, like I say, great release in this set. This is loaded with special features as well. Second viewing, I watched the commentary track with Rachel Nesbitt. Very good commentary. She's very good.
Yeah, Scottish.
Yeah, she's very good. I don't see she gets enough credit. She's very good. I like her commentaries a lot. Her and Troy do great jobs and stuff like that. I have to look at more of these commentaries. Watch with more of these commentaries. She did great. Like I say, she mentioned the director, the producer, all these people too. The times and all this stuff happened, but great transfer as well. Same thing, 4K from the transfer. So this is a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Definitely check it out.
It was so the director, Giuliano Camonero, was supposed to shoot this. He's the one who did Case of the Bloody Iris. He was all ready to shoot this film, direct it, and everything. But then that kind of got sidelined, and
that always kind of happens.
It does,
So these people get those positions.
I think people didn't like the script. They thought it was a bad script as well. But yeah, what can you say about this one that we haven't already? I think it's well worth a lot of people's time. If you're like because you probably come to these streams with me and Chris do for slashers a lot. I think you'll like this as a slasher fan.
Yeah, definitely. It's big as being a slasher fan and stuff like that. And this is one of my favorite genre. Gialli is one of my favorite genres in cinema, to tell you the truth. It's way up there with like some slasher horror and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's basically Italian cinema, specifically Gialli though. It's the best cinema you can get really from that country.
This is that fine line between Giallo and slasher, I think. The type like Stage Fright, Body Count, and films like that, which literally come all within a year of each other too.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's a good one. Definitely check it out. Chat again, like I say, just leave comments if you're watching the replay, and just leave comments in the comment section here if you're all watching this live and stuff like that. Say what you think of the film. I know a lot of people do like The Killer's Still Among Us, like we all do and stuff like that. It's definitely a good one. We're going to get to this one that me and Darren both like quite a bit. He may be surprised about my ranking of this film. I'll probably be surprised with his, but we're talking about this really hidden gem, in my opinion. This film actually impressed me more than the second time around, other than the first. I flipping love it to death. That's Arabella, Black Angel, 1989, directed by Stelvio Massi, a.k.a. Max Steel. That's right. He did a lot of films in the 80s and stuff like that, too. This is first. This stars Tina Casino. This is the first time you see her full frontal. My goodness.
Man, you think one of the hottest women you'll ever see in a Giallo film,
dude.
And I'm not playing that down either.
Yeah, Tina Casino as Arabella. Yeah, Francisco Caselli as Francesco. Yeah, Valentina Visconti as Patrice, and you have Evelyn Stewart. Now she goes by another name in here, but this is the first film Giallo I've ever seen her in. Then I saw The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. Then I've seen some of the other films that she was in.
Murder Mansion.
She's an all-timer. Yeah, Murder Mansion. She's an all-time actress for me. She's flipping gorgeous. Yeah. Even in here, she's great. As Francesca's mother and stuff like that too.
She's in pretty much anything and everything. Footprints on the Moon. Yeah. You could.
Quick synopsis definitely a quick synopsis on this film, in my opinion. You take The Devil's Honey. You take Your Vice is a Locked Room and I Have the Key. You take those two, and you get one of the sleaziest, best, towards the end of the decade, Gialli, probably ever. It's almost like Cinemax type stuff. I love the soundtrack to this film. I love the score to this.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Darren, lead us off. Your thoughts real quick on this film, by the way.
I've always loved this. I had an old bootleg of this years ago, and I love that anyway.
First off, I just want to mention the View with Drew dropped in to say hi. What's going on, my friend? Thank you a lot. He's popped in some of my streams and mentioned some of my channels. Good to see you here, my friend. Sorry I missed you and stuff like that, but I do have this new function that StreamYard put up where it'll show the chat messages in here and stuff like that too. So don't worry, I don't forget about you all. Thank you very much for watching. If you can, hit that like, please. Really appreciate it. Helps the algorithm and, keeps us going. You know what I mean? We do this for fun anyway, but.
Yeah, what's up, man? Anyway, But yeah, so directed by Salvio Massi. He did do Five Women for the Killer in
Oh, he
1974.
did.
It's not a great Giallo. I don't
It's not
find.
the best one. I'll have to rewatch
No,
that one
it's
again
one of
too.
the lesser ones, I'd say. But he
Yeah.
did The Last Round in 1976, and he did Magnum Cop in 78 as well.
And Franco Nero.
Yeah. I think was it Franco Nero?
I think so. It looks like the way the poster art looks. It looks like that's
No, I
him.
think it was the other guy. It's the other guy, the Franco Nero lookalike.
The lookalike that was in.
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name, but you got music by Sir Fran. This, and like Chris said, the same track to this is fucking great,
dude. It's so. I'd buy vinyl to this.
Oh yeah, and Chris went through the whole cast, but for me, yeah. So I think Chris said it quite well actually with the Skinamax, but it's just got such a unique kind of, almost like a music video type feel to it, like MTV type feel, but obviously
like 80s rock.
Oh yeah, triple.
They show the club scenes in here is very good, and I'm like, oh, I love this. Yeah.
And that opening scene, like with the synth, where the same track kicks in, is fucking incredible. So you've got Deborah Veronese. She arrives at this weird kind of warehouse, like sex party going on.
Yeah, Deborah, thank you. That's her actual name in the film. Yeah, Deborah.
Yeah, Teeny Casino, like I said, absolutely stunning, man.
So
she's being
voyeuristic sex club, basically, like in this abandoned warehouse.
Oh yeah, there's weird.
Very cool intro to that. That is cool, neat stuff. Not for everybody. I do like it though. I like this a lot. A lot of leather in here.
You think of bondage and weird, kinky fucking shit all going on in this place.
Yeah.
But she's being followed by this man with a camera. We later find out his name.
Yeah, CDM effort. Looks like Brad Dourif a little bit.
From
Mr. Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky, a little bit with that long hair with the bow in the back and stuff like that too. Yeah, I'll taking pictures of her.
He's pretty much doing it, I think, to kind of blackmail her.
Yeah, blackmail her a little bit
later on. But she gets it on with she starts getting it on with two men. And in the end, they like start smacking her about a bit as well.
Yeah, because they want like 70% or something like that from her.
Yeah, because they think she's actually a hooker, but she's actually there to just get off with.
Yeah, just get off. Yeah,
we will
find out about that later. Yeah,
we will say why with her husband, but yeah, and I mean, I can't stress enough how nice looking this woman is, man.
She's driving at the start to this place, listening to music and stuff like that. That's where the news reporter, or he's basically a night crawler. And he's like right behind her. He's like, so I watched the English version of this one with the English dub, which is hilarious.
I did as well. Yeah.
But originally I watched the Italian cut, of course, and stuff like that. And he basically says, "I got you now." Basically, in the original version, he says, "I got you." It's like, it's like I finally got you. I finally have something on you, and stuff like that too. So,
but if you think that's where the sleaze goes, like, it gets worse, man. So she literally, the Vice Squad, they raid this party.
Yeah.
You got cop Alfonso de Rosa, and he believes Deborah's this kind of high class prostitute in some way, and he arrests her and fucking rapes her over the car.
Yeah, he rapes her. She drops her purse.
Yeah, it is so like disturbing in a way.
It's like he automatically just drops her pants down and just like doing that. Yeah, basically what he does is he assaults her.
But he tries to redeem himself a little bit later, where he returns the purse to her, but then he turns up.
He says, because he stays on the camera and stuff like that. And I think in the news version he says, "I've come back from hell" or something like that. Or something.
Yeah.
Come back from hell. I got something for you.
Right. Yeah. So this is where we set up a character. So her character's married to a guy called Francisco, and he's her husband. He's paralyzed. And
he's a writer.
Yeah, he's a writer husband. He was paralyzed on their wedding day.
Yeah, she was all giving him a blowjob in the car. It just screams. It screams Devil's Honey. It screams Devil's Honey with that scene. Except that scene in here is done better than that one.
So he's driving down on his wedding day, and she's fucking giving him head, and they go straight onto this oncoming car or lorry or
whatever. He's all climaxing up there and stuff like that. That comes into play later, and just goes head first into a vehicle.
and we see the flashback, we see all that as well.
Yeah.
And he's really kind of short-tempered. We don't know if it's because of the accident and whether he's
It
impotent.
reminds me of
we don't know.
Luigi Pistilli and flipping Your Vice and stuff like that, but that dude's a punk bitch and stuff like that.
Oh man, yeah.
What's going on, Cal? Good to see you, my man.
I don't think it's hard to fucking like. I think that guy Pistilli was fucking one of the best.
Oh no, he was amazing for that. He was meant for
that.
that role. But yeah, this one he's more like, because he's writing something and she says something. English version makes her out to be a bimbo. I hate to say that because he calls her stupid. Like he calls her stupid more than
the thing
once.
is, like, she is a bimbo. Let's be honest.
She is pretty bad,
is
and he just rips it up and just tosses it at her and all this other stuff too. Yeah.
So you got Martha, who's Evelyn Stewart, like Chris said. She plays Francisco's mother. And weirdly enough, like she stays.
They'll live in the house together. Yeah, this mansion type place.
She lives there, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, she lives there, cooks for him, and all this other stuff too.
And she walks in on fucking awkward moments later on. And
because in the credits it mentions her name kind of separately from everybody else, which I'm like, okay. And it's like also starring basically Evelyn Stewart. They just put her name.
Did they call her Ida Galli? That's a
probably
that's her original.
Probably.
Name, yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So Alfonso, then this rogue cop, he kind of arrives, returns the purse, apologizes to her, saying, "Look, I thought you were a prostitute," but then he fucking completely.
He just wants her. He's infatuated with her already. He's like, I had a great time.
He blackmails
you last night and stuff like that too. So
he said, "If you don't have sex with me again, I'm going to tell your husband." And she's like, "Well, you know, if we're going to have sex, let's go to a different part of the house." But he sees, the husband does actually see what's going on.
That's where he goes. He goes and stuff like that. And the mom says, like, oh, where are you going and stuff like that too. He says something in the English dub. It doesn't say that though. He doesn't say anything in the English dub. The Italian version, I think he says something because you see his lips move as he's going. So he's basically watching the dude go down on her for the most part. And she notices that
protracted fucking like scene as well where
it's great.
It does look real.
I have to admit, it's great. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie.
But then she realizes the husband's watching and she sees like a mallet at the corner
she sees
of her
the mallet
eye, and she's like, bang, and this fucking guy, this cop's
they gotta dispose of the body.
That's another
already
thing.
Already here it goes.
Straight away they're like, shit, we need to dispose this body in the
That's
yard.
what I like about that. It goes like that. I love Giallos like this. It
does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it goes really quick.
So, you know, you've got the thing then with so the guy who's been following is called Nick. He's killed by the killer with scissors as well, by this unseen killer. And didn't he? So he's phoning someone about the missing cop in the photo. So he's trying to blackmail.
He's like, "Damn it, why are you never home?" or something like that too.
Right.
Stabs him in the. It looks like the killer stabs him in the colon, like right here. Yeah. Like that's intentional, man. That's really. One thing about this set, all of these films have something in common. They do that on purpose. I hand it to Vinegar Syndrome for doing that. They do that on purpose.
Genital mutilation, like But and if you think by watching the first few minutes of this film you're just gonna get some kind of MTV type Skinamax film, you're wrong, man. Because
it's a WTF all over the place film. That's when you get introduced to the that's when you get introduced to the lesbian detective, or she's the chief, I think. And the other detective and stuff that, you know, is eating like a burger or some red thing.
But just when you think, like, every character in this is despicable, right? So her husband then now wants to write the fucking book. He wants her to sleep with all these different people so he can get inspired to write
Dark Angel book.
Yeah, Arabella, Dark Angel. And he's willing to just let her out.
They show the cover of that book too, like. That's too bad. That's a prop. I hope it's not a prop. If there's a book that's called that, dude, that actually does that, dude, I'll be all for that.
Man, you think they could have included like a little prop of that book in your?
Oh, that'd be terrific. That would be very good. There probably is an alternate poster out there, theatrical one, maybe one sheet and stuff like that. You probably have to look it up, but I wouldn't be surprised. Her holding it, the actress holding the book up and smiling, that'd be terrific.
Yeah.
Have her sign it.
But so Deborah then, she's picked up by a man in like a Western themed bar.
Yeah, she's at this club and stuff like that. The bartender gives her a light in those old school like cigarette holder things that you put the cigarette into, and
they kind of like end up leaving together. They rent this hotel room to have sex.
Yeah, bartender says he'll be begged like a buffalo or something like that. I hope so too.
Yeah. And then you got the weird scene there where she gets this champagne and she's pouring it all over her fucking naked body.
Dude, this is the first time her doing this, boy. And she was
this
like,
guy
all
is licking,
for it, man.
This guy is licking that off like there's no fucking tomorrow.
Dude,
you can't blame the guy.
She's all on top like she's the queen, which she knows she is, and all this other stuff too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know. And pretty much after she's gone, then the guy gets stabbed and he's killed. I think at the same time, the cops find
he's stabbed in that area, I believe. He's stabbed in the penis area. Yeah. So it's kind of reversed here.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of lack
from Sister Of Ursula. It's kind of reversed here.
So we see the aftermath of his body actually, being mutilated in the hotel. And like police officer or police investigator turns around and he says, yeah, he had his dick and his balls cut off. And how messy that was. That's where she's in. She goes into the bathroom and she turns on the water and all blood's all coming up there. Is she okay? And I was like, okay. You find out she's kind of like, you find out a lot of stuff about her. It's like, what? You know? Yeah. So that's Gina Fowler is the lead investigator, played by Valentina Visconti. She seems kind of really fucked up by the crime scene. Like you say, she sees blood coming out of the tap.
Inspector Patrice, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Deborah and Francisco, they read all about the murders in the paper, so they know there's kind of a serial killer at large. But we don't know who it is at this point. Do you know what I mean? It will all be revealed.
They call him the scissor killer.
Right, yeah. So Gina dreams. So this female investigator, she dreams of this black glove killer using like a scissors.
Yeah.
Pretty much penetrate the private parts, and we see all that.
Does like pokes her and puts the circles and blood like around her, her breasts and all these other places. Then goes down and takes the scissors and uncuts her panties,
And just seeing the knife penetrate the skin, even though it just gives me the creeps like all the way. She tells her girlfriend, so her girlfriend's called Agnes Borden, and she's like a journalist.
She's a journalist.
She's got this. The lead investigator's got this like real bad childhood trauma she tells her about, and this bitchy like journalist goes and like repeats it all to the newspaper at one point. Which is every character is fucking despicable.
Yeah, because wakes her up and stuff like that. I'm gonna go get some tea or something like that. It's like, oh, don't leave and stuff like that. If you're up, then I'm gonna stay up, and then I have to go to work anyway. So,
yeah, man. So. Black Angel, like Chris said, is the title of Francesco's new book. And they start to get it on as well. And we're not sure, so I wasn't sure if he was impotent because of the accident, but we don't see
he seemed to be that way at the start. And she's trying to like impress him and like doing this stuff. Basically, the murderer got him off when she killed that dude.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, you did that for me because you saw me watching.
So it's implied, or I think when they have sex together, he kind of uses his hand rather
because he does that kind of afterwards and stuff like that penis, too. And it's funny because they're seeing this like you're my dark angel and stuff like that too. It's like, no, I'm not. Why do you always got to do that from somebody from your books and stuff like that? Oh, that's not what I mean. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is a marriage.
That's a dark fucking marriage. But we find out that the childhood trauma that Gina suffered from was her mother castrated her father when she was young.
Yeah.
And that's where the female journalist goes and tells the fucking papers and everything. And them two, they end up like really having a bad fallout, don't they? And you got the
she gets a phone call, or Patrice is supposed to get a phone call, but her lover gets it and takes it instead, saying, yeah, I'm Inspector Patrice. And
she pretends to be her, man.
It sounds like it's a woman on the phone.
Yeah,
It does,
yeah.
but it's all synthesized, right? You know, like they have those devices there to make them
Like
sound.
voice recorder, like
Meet me
distorting
at
the
the park
voice
at
and
this
shit.
time. So this is
Yeah.
this echoes Four Flies. The scenes like this echo Four Flies because it goes from day to night, you know, pretty quickly.
Yeah, fifth chord, I always mention it on my
Yeah, love the
streams.
fifth chord.
You got
Yeah,
the
love it.
pack scene in that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Agnes is this real bitch to like Gina. They end up
On top of
fighting
her
in
and
the park.
slaps her because she follows her because she says,
Oh
I want to
yeah,
see you and stuff like that too, and stalks her and finds her in the park. It looks like maybe they're going to have some sexy time together. She gets on top of her and just bitch slaps her and like, oh yeah,
she's
get
a
the hell out.
fucking real bitch, man.
Calls her derogatory term. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, above other things, she's like she calls her like fucking liar and liar.
Yeah.
I think that's the killer, isn't it? The killer fucking calls her a liar.
Yeah.
That's right. The killer calls her a liar. But you got the suspenseful scene there where
because the killer
shows up at the park. Yeah.
Liar.
Yeah. The killer cuts her throat and fucking mutilates her genitals with the scissors, and it is But all at the same time, all that is going on. Deborah's putting like it's really weird because these two scenes kind of at the same time. Deborah puts on like this sexy underwear for Francesco.
You're right. Is that the one they got her for a present or whatever like that? Yeah.
And she looks fucking incredible.
There's a scene where he walks in, sees his mother making dinner, and is like going, have you been crying and stuff like that? She says, no, the onions I've been like chopping and stuff like that too, and what have you.
This is where, on top of all the sleaze that goes on, right? So they're getting it on. He's giving her oral sex and all that. The mother walks in and she's like, oh, let them go. You know, they're out, they're doing their thing type of thing.
First off, like he gives it to her. He's like going, okay, pose for me and do all this stuff for me. I'm like, oh, dang, it's getting hot and heavy here. Okay. And then she's like, oh, I'll just wait for dinner for later and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah. Just
and you get the feeling that the mother's seen all this before, like it's a regular occurrence. That she's just like in on a man having sex and shit. Which is
her son having sex with his wife.
It is kind of funny, man. But then we got a big reveal, one of the first big reveals. So Francesco is not, in fact, a cripple. He's not an invalid.
Because she goes out to I forgot the name of the place a bunch of these gay guys are at, or where these dudes hang out at. It's like a warehouse type place that's heavily like smoky and stuff, very 80s like.
Yeah.
And that's where go ahead, Darren, you can take off.
So he ends up following her, doesn't he, in the car, in like another car.
Because she thinks he's somebody else. He's like going, okay, you son of a bitch. It's like, okay,
because she's looking, isn't she, in the
like I'm going to expose you or something like that. I'm going to find out who you are. So it's like it tells you she's been reading the papers because she knows the cowboy dude that she slept with and stuff like that was killed. She knows that. It's in the papers.
They clearly read the paper.
It was like a picture. It wasn't a paint. It was like a painting picture or like a drawing of him. On the bed and stuff like that. I thought that was quite. Quite smart.
There's a lot of cool shit in this, I'd say.
Yeah.
But so yeah, she realizes she's being followed. She doesn't know it's Francisco at this point. But she, like Gina, then the female inspector.
This comes out of nowhere.
This is like So she meets up with her real life mother, a blood mother, who turns out to be in fact Martha, who's the father.
Yeah, she was married. She was married twice. So it's the
half brother.
Half brother. Yeah.
Then that comes from nowhere, like, and she's got like a dark past as well. Wasn't she in like a mental hospital?
Yeah, she was. Well, she mentioned the father and stuff like that too, and stuff like that. Like she says, "I did a good thing by giving you up," or something like that too. In her mind.
Yeah.
And
then she's like,
says, "We have to go. We have to go.
We need to go," and that's where the penny drops. Where they think that maybe Francisco's the killer, or that's what they trying to like.
Well, first off, they stopped at a coffee shop. She goes, "I'm going to make a phone call real quick. You just stay right here."
Yeah.
Like, can you give me a coffee too? Sure. So she calls the hospital, and she goes, "My mother's not well. Like, you all did a terrible job. She still needs help and stuff like that." And you see her out there, like looking at her and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
Oh,
That's where she calls. Yeah, and that's where she just goes to the other seat, and the mom drives off. That's where she goes back in and stuff like that, and asks her detective friend, "Can you pick me up? I need you to take me somewhere." She goes,
That's
"Oh,
right,
that
yeah.
one place where all those guys are at." Yeah, so
Yeah, it's like this kind of sexy party again. Deborah picks up this male prostitute.
yeah, just wants to make love and stuff like that. He's like,
And
"That's
he's
all I
on about
want to
just
do."
using a fucking boxing glove or something at one point.
Yeah, he has like boxing, like boxer shorts on and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that too.
It
And
is
just straight
weird,
up, and
man.
she's like on the tree doing that to her, and she's looking around to see, and he's there, her husband's there and stuff like
Oh, yes. So Martha and Gina, they go to stop kind of Francisco exploiting Deborah because he, like you say, he's there. But Matt, that's where, yeah, Matt. So Martha drives off when she uses the phone, didn't she, a bit earlier? And we don't know where like Martha's gonna go at this point. Deborah, yeah. So she has sex with this male prostitute while fucking Francisco's watching. Afterwards, Francisco like shows
she's like
himself.
alone in the forest, right? It's
It is
just
in the
her, and
middle
she's
of
looking
nowhere, man.
around for it. Yeah.
He says, so basically, he says he faked it, faked being fucking like an invalid, pretty much to try and help with his writer's block. I don't know
Yeah,
how
his
that
writer's
fucking works.
block. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but he ends up raping her, but then she starts to get into it. Deborah starts to like it in the end again, which is weird.
Yeah.
And that's where you got the whole reveal of
Because she has
Martha
her
then.
eyes closed and stuff like that. He's going down on her.
Because we
And that's
think
when you
he's
see
the
the
killer now.
scissors kill him, goes
Exactly.
back, he goes back, and that's when you figure out it's the mother, and she's like, "Oh no," because she mentioned to her daughter that you find out and stuff like that too. It's like,
Mhm.
people having, like, he was having sex and all this dirty stuff and stuff. So I, clipped off his, what, did all this shit to him, and, did that because I had to do it and all this other stuff too. And I broke her because, oh, whoops, you killed your son, you dumb bitch. It's like,
It's a really like what the fuck type reveal, but it's great. Like,
no, it is, because she does follow him with the car. She goes through, she sees all the dudes there and stuff like that too, because she knows what she's going to do. But yeah, it's a good reveal because I thought it was him at the start. I thought
I
it was him
thought it was him
because
right
the
up
way
until that.
he's having
Yeah.
he's having sex with him and stuff like that as well, or
But
having
once you
sex with her.
realize that he can actually walk and all that, you automatically think that's the killer.
Yeah.
But then you've got, like when he gets stabbed by the mother through the head, it reminds me of Fulci, to be honest. The stab through
Yeah,
the
it
head.
does. Yeah.
But Deborah then she meets up after all this has gone on, the killer's been revealed. She meets up with Gina. And she's like been staying for 6 months in some kind of mental hospital
Yeah.
to try and recover from all the trauma. But she tells Martha, Martha never understood sex and had like an enraged mania during her time, when she was killing. And like Chris give a good explanation to why all that happened. But yeah, at this time as well, 6 months in advance, the book has already been released.
It's a bestseller.
Even though, Francisco's dead. It is great, vice does not equal sin, and honesty knows no shame. Is like the graffiti on the wall of the sex club at the end. Like Deborah revisits this place, and then she starts to get it on with these.
It's a great kind of
guy.
scene there.
Oh
It's
man,
almost like
it's
the ending
superb.
to like an 80s schlock film. And as she's going down on, that's where the awesome kind of credits play and the music, which is
That fucking
80s
theme music, man.
badassness, what have you.
We need a soundtrack to this as well.
Yeah, we do.
I'd buy in a fucking.
See, if Severin released this, I'm looking at you, Severin. They would do it. They would do it.
I mean, this is something I double dip for. I know.
I would double dip on it.
I bet
I can
Dirk's
see a
watching
chunky
this
box
now.
of this. I can see a chunky box of this.
Yeah,
Brett's the
I was gonna
Vinegar
say-
Syndrome. This is a good release too. It's 2K. This is a 2K scan, but you see the borders on the side and stuff
Oh
like
man,
that.
it looks.
But this
it
is
looks
the best this
amazing.
film probably has ever looked.
Yeah.
So Darren, what's your score on this one?
Well, this one. So I was going to say, I bet if Dirk is watching this, because he knows I love this film, and him and Gizmo hate it. They were. I think they were really low.
Yeah, Gizmo does not like it.
I stayed the same on this one. It's like 8.5, 8 or 10.
That's very nice. I get very good.
Go on, you go for it.
No, go ahead, Darren. Just finish off what you're saying.
All right. So yeah, I was gonna say a few little things as well. So Tino Casino plays Arabella. She was a Greek actress. She was born in 1959.
My goodness.
She was already known in Italy for appearances in a comedy sketch show called Drive-In. But the reason she left that show was kind of sleazy in itself, because all the male comedians were kind of coming on to her and she had to leave. Not so much is known about her, so I kind of dug this out through AI.
It's crazy that this is the first film she ever did full frontal. That's crazy. She's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard the film is derivative of Crimes of Passion, 1984.
Oh,
which it's been on my radar a lot, but I've never seen. So I've heard this could be like a companion piece.
Nice.
So that's one maybe me and Chris can maybe get to in the future.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up.
But there was rumors in Italy, right, of this actress that she was Rita Hayworth's secret niece. So yeah,
I can see that.
It was never
Rita
verified
was
one way or
gorgeous.
another.
Yeah. Greek. I can see the Greek in her. Yeah.
She did do a film called Nightmare in Venice in 1989, and she did Delizia in 1986.
Yeah.
But not much is known about her. She went on to have 3 children. She's still alive, thank God. Yeah, absolute stunning. But sorry, Chris, go on, go for your rating on that.
Like I say, very good. Like I say, what can you say about the director, Stelvio Massi? Flippin', he went by the synonym Max Steel. That tells you all you need to know about these films.
He did not want his name on this.
He did not want his name on that. Like I say, Evelyn Stewart, I mean, great actress. I mean, she looks really good here. I mean, she still looks pretty.
She's older, but yeah.
I love her interviews, and she can talk, make no mistake. And she's very nice, it seems, with her interviews, and she likes to talk about that. So good for her. And like I say, all great actors and actresses in this one. A great soundtrack. I love films like this. I don't believe it. A very solid 7 out of 10. This can go up easily.
Okay, I'm pleased with that.
A very solid 7 out of 10. So in the Giallo tiers wise, this is a B plus.
So this would kind of just make it into the top tier, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. Top 30. There's a lot of Giallos out there and stuff like that. For this decade, though, this is top tier for this decade, obviously.
Oh man, it's hard to believe this is a 1989 film as well.
Yeah, just towards the end of the decade.
It's got that 90s vibe, doesn't it? It does look like a
just
90s.
Barely. You have that transition, like you say, because you saw stuff in films like the Stendhal syndrome, right? Rachel Nisbet equals that. Equals films like Stendhal 2, like The Killer Still Among Us, stuff like that too, with you adding the very nasty sleaziness and the hatefulness to stuff like that too. So you see that transition in films like this, which I like a lot.
So think erotic thriller meets Giallo meets slasher.
This is definitely like Killer Instinct. That's a very good comparison, Darren. And what's going on, Jason? It's good to see you. Ginger Ninja Movies Reviews and down here. Yeah, we're all doing good. Hope you're having a good morning, I think, where you're at.
Yeah, what's up, man? I don't spoke to Ginger for a while.
Yeah, definitely check out his channel. So yeah, definitely a good solid 7 out of 10. These are all good films. We all highly recommend this. Like I say, this is a very good set. This is the best looking out of all the sets, in my opinion.
It's got the best cover art for me.
Yeah, it does have the best cover art. I mean, look at that. It's badass.
It's got the best 3 films. And if you think about it, so the whole rating, right, is 8 to 30. And I give this, 25 out of 30 if I put all my ratings together, which is fucking high, kind of recommend.
If I go out of 10 for this one gets a 9.
Okay.
All the films I like for this that are in here, right? So I can do box sets by the films that are in them. I like all these 3.
I'll
a lot of Forgotten Gialli can be hit and misses. At least all the Forgotten Gialli I have has at least 1 gem in the sets and stuff like that. At least 1 or 2. This one has all 3. I like them all for what they are.
This is a 10, I think. In terms of, if you've got to rate the whole box sets together, this is the 10. This is the one.
Definitely. Definitely.
And if you like this one, you probably like the one they come out with fairly recently as well, the more kind of sleazy one too, like done in the was it the 90s?
Yeah.
With mystery was in there, and
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
you might like that one too.
Very good. So
But
yeah,
this
that
was a fun one, man. Yeah.
yeah, this was a great stream. I definitely had fun with this one. Yeah, so this was originally called, we originally did this as Giallo Rex with Darren and stuff like that. So I said, why not Talking Giallo with Darren? You see that I changed my YouTube handle, and you saw my header on my YouTube channel and stuff like that too. You see the black gloves. I'm starting to do a series called Black Glove Reviews, where I review basically Giallos that I feel deserve the recognition for me to give thoughts and review on and stuff like that. It won't be everything, but I want to do kind of more deep dives into this genre. Slasher stream ain't going anywhere. Slasher Saturdays aren't going anywhere. I'm still a slasher nerd wise, but hence the Black Glove Reviews. And it's Lucio Fulci's, the great Lucio Fulci's birthday. So I'm like, why not? Let's put some sleazy Giallo into the stream and stuff like that. So it kind of all the stars came together for this.
They
one,
all
definitely.
came together. Yeah, definitely. I look forward to those Black Glove reviews as well.
Yeah, but new intro and all this other stuff too. Like I say, I rep Darren up very much for here. He's great with all his stuff too. I hope you like that intro, and that's the intro we're going to do going forward, and some other good stuff. Expect other great stuff from this channel. Must apologize for my sexy voice here. I have a head cold, obviously, but I feel a lot better than I did this morning. So nothing was going to stop me for doing this on Lucio Fulci's birthday. May he long rest in peace. One of the greatest Italian directors of all time, the godfather of gore. Darren, what do you have going on the other channels that you're a part of?
Right. So yeah, it's going to be busy coming up. So with Dirk, obviously Perspective Collective. Gotta get that right. We got Sunday a Cannibal special. So we're covering
I need to check out that. I need to check out that one because I have Cannibal Apocalypse with John Saxon. I have that Kino release, the Blu-ray. I still need to check that one out. I haven't watched enough cannibal films to tell you the truth.
Man from Deep River and Slave of the Cannibal Gods. So we got Umberto Lenzi and Martino.
That's on Tubi, by the way. A lot of these cannibal films are on Tubi. If you have it here in the States and stuff like that too, highly recommend that. Just put in cannibal films. It'll come up.
Check out Visited by Voices channel we mentioned earlier. I've always got stuff coming up there. I know we got something planned, a couple of shows planned with Dan, me and Dirk. And we're doing, I think there's going to be a slasher kind of double bill in there as well. I think we're doing Bloody Moon. We're aiming to record that, I think, late next week. But it might not come up.
Terrific. That's probably Jesus Franco's best film. I'm not kidding.
No, it is. It is. But when Region 3 comes back, they're taking a little bit of a hiatus with Lawn and that. But when it comes back, hopefully we can become on a few of those as well. Again, I'm trying to think what else. Dead End Driving just meant. Yeah. So pretty much that's the main things I do. But yeah, check out all those channels, those guys. Flesh Wound Features, absolutely superb. Dan, what he does, man. He does, with Dan, he's doing stuff constantly and he's watching all the new releases and all that. So check out those guys. You got Todd, the producer guy as well. I don't know, is there any other channels that you want to recommend, Chris, before we go?
Other than what you recommended there, Visited by Voices, definitely check them out. Flesh Wound Features. Visited by Voices, of course, the Dead End Drive-In. You, Dirk, and Big Dan do a great job over there. Like I say, Flesh Wound Features, they do great stuff on some of the newer horror that's out there. Very good. It's always great seeing him, producer Todd, Pugs, see on Disneyland.
Oh, yeah,
flipping Kruger. Kruger, who's a badass wrestler. I hope he's doing good. He had a hardcore match coming up. I hope he's doing okay.
I don't want to forget Dead Pit as well.
Yeah, of course, Dead Pit Boys. I put all their channels in the info bar, but Visited by Voices in there. Lauren, those dudes do a great job, and the gals do a great job over there.
I mean,
Lauren, you are the man. Yeah,
Lauren, I love Lauren. He knows that I love all his stuff. In terms of Dead Pit, man, those two guys, CK and Uncle Bill, giving me and Dirk the chance to go on their channel every couple of weeks, and
me too, just inviting me on there just to talk about Policio Testes with UB and all those great people there. Exactly, Anchor Bay Archives with Garrett and CK. that's always cool. Definitely check out their opening episode that they did on
Exactly. I was
that.
going to say, and Lorne doesn't have to do that either. You know, he's been good enough to let me into come on his channel too as well, and we're doing that Dead End show. So I've got to give massive props to CK, Uncle Bill, you know, and Lorne and Dan as well for the Dead End.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, just life's good at the moment. Long may it continue. You know, I'm enjoying all this stuff.
Yeah. Definitely. Same thing. My channel, just expect a Slasher Saturday. It'll probably be Madman, to tell you the truth. Slashtastic Summer continues, of course.
Madman.
This is part of Slashtastic Summer. So, you know, doing the stuff. Next, Black Glove reviews. I'm doing Short Night of Glass Dolls. Going to be going through, reviewing that release from Celluloid Dreams. I got that nice chunky box, so expect that one in the near future. And
Nice.
future slasher streams and Under the Blade. We have great content coming up for you all. And
what's the next one we got planned then? What's the next slasher stream? Is we going to do the Friday the 13th too?
I think so. We'll talk about that off stream and stuff like that, so we can get it all settled down for you all, and we'll be good to go with that. And just great stuff ahead. Also, Mega Mike the Movie Man. Really appreciate him having me on his streams. Thank you for inviting me into that community. Introduced me to some great people. The Movie Den, Jordan, great dude. Check him out. Great people in there. Dell from Dell Loves Movies. All great channels. Of course, Jason from Ginger Ninja Reviews. Cal L Daily, whenever he has whenever he does videos. It's always cool to see what he can do. So it's all great channels, all for the love of this genre of horror and Gialli that we love. So yeah, great stuff ahead.
I don't want to forget people, and I know I have, but I don't want to forget Tex as well. Tex is
absolutely Tex is hardcore.
Go and check out his stuff. He does, you know, watch alongs. And
Pop's Movie Dungeon. My boy Alan does great stuff over there when he has the chance to that. Gizmo has something. He has everyone there. Well. Johnny Walker from Johnny's Boutique Labels. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Of course, Dirk and Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective as well. And of course, yours truly. Can't forget about me, but great stuff ahead. Like to thank you all for watching. It's been a good one. I had fun with this one. This was talking Giallo with Darren. Technically episode 1, but it's like episode 3, I think. We'll think of some other Giallos for the next episode of this. If you can, stab that like or take a tree branch and don't do something with it that I'd want you to do. Don't do that. And hit that subscribe if you like what you see here. But the likes do help. And I just love doing this anyway. And it's a great community. So I'm Chris C. I'm the Slasher Nerd, a.k.a. tonight, the Giallo Nerd King. That is Darren from Subjective Perspective Collective. You all have a great evening, everybody. Happy birthday, Lucio Fulci. And I'll see you all in Disneyland. You awesome folks. Take care.
Bye, guys.